Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Anime Lately podcast. I'm your host, SamtheMangaMan, and here with me are my bro-takus. Introducing first, the Game Master. He has Saiyan blood in his DNA, and that includes loyalty, got royalty inside that DNA. The leader of the U-Bum Nation, the director of anime, Mr. King of Games himself, Ray Apollo! Our next creature is the demon in the Black Clover community. He is the pride of the east side of New York, New York. He has a great love for Trigon, Dr. Stone, and One Piece, but only in the East Coast, of course. The Your Color Legendy Vash, Miguel Para. Our next co-host is the CEO of the Careful for Spoilers podcast network, founder of the No Anime, No Life Facebook group. He is a future champion of the movie trivia Schmodown, the connoisseur of movies, the great and talented JB, James Barnes. And finally, our special guest, the brand ambassador programmer of Nintendo Company, a lover of Hamtaro, a non-enthusiast of Vinland Saga. So Vinland Saga, let it go! The true ultimate #1 One Piece fan. And I give great pleasure in introducing the most notorious and powerful anime YouTuber, Yonko Pirate Captain in the world, Roger the Luigi, a.k.a. Rogerbase!
So guys, how do we all feel? Because I'm happy that Roger heard this beautiful intro of Sam breaking the sound barrier, of him going on Mach 1. How did you feel, Roger, being for the first time hearing your name in a wrestling announcer studio?
It was great. It was great. I feel very loved and I feel welcomed. So thank you for having me.
Mission accomplished, boys. It's done. Wrap it up.
There you go.
All right.
That's it. That's it.
We're done. We out of here now. The show has ended. It's been only 5 minutes long. That's it.
Yeah,
right.
My
You're
introduction was all you needed to know, all you needed to hear for this entire podcast.
Right. That's right.
But honestly, this is a great opportunity. I have followed Roger for many years, and I can't wait to speak to him, for the first time face to face and everything. And even though it has felt like he said behind the scenes, I've known him for so long because we've been
I know you edited so much of my stuff. Yeah. I mean, it's like so many of my anime reactions, Miguel's been editing for like a long time. So yeah, it's like between the Bleach stuff and between the Demon Slayer stuff, it's like there's already a rapport there. So
that was great. So Sam, start it off.
All right, guys, we're gonna interview Roger.
Cool.
Of course, and we already know some of these answers for these questions because he is the ultimate. But we're gonna have to ask these questions for people who don't know. So we're gonna start with #1.
Okay.
What was your first anime that you've ever watched?
First anime I ever watched was Pokemon. Probably. I think it was probably Pokemon. It was either Pokemon or Zoids. It was one of the two.
Either one are acceptable, but Zoids is much better right now.
Loves
Liger Zero, man. Liger
Exactly.
Zero all day, every
Yes.
day.
I've never seen Zoids, so I wouldn't
And Pokemon is a perfectly acceptable answer, by the way.
Oh, yeah. I think, honestly, I really do think it was Pokemon, but I feel like Pokemon transitioned me into watching others of their anime. So, like, with Zoids, I have very distinct memories of going, there was, like, an import movie store that was in downtown Chicago that I would go to with my parents, and we would buy the VHS tapes of Zoids.
Oh, my God, yes.
So, like, I have still the original VHS tapes of Zoids, and then from there, I got into, like, other stuff that was on Toonami. Actually, that's not even true, really. I didn't watch Toonami growing up. I watched Adult Swim growing up. So, like, I grew up really watching Inuyasha, Cowboy Bebop, and Trigun, and then I got into stuff that was on Toonami a little bit later. So, like, I didn't watch Naruto. I didn't watch the 4 Kids One Piece. I didn't watch Bleach. Yu Yu Hakusho I watched. So
thank you. I was about to say Yu Yu Hakusho.
That baby.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's go. Come on.
All right. Yes. Thank you.
That's about it.
All right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, does that include the whole Kids WB as well stuff? Like for, I think Card Captors was also on there.
Oh yeah. Fighting Foodons.
Fighting
Fighting Foodons.
I remember that.
All right, so I'm glad to know that Roger and I I feel like I can feel like we come from the same time period, so this is great.
Absolutely.
Well, you and him are about the same age, so that makes total sense.
I'm turning 30 on next Monday, so
that's what I'm saying.
Man.
You guys are the same age.
There you
So
go.
like works right there.
It's the golden year, baby. It's the golden year.
It was the golden year.
I genuinely feel like there was no better time for anime than like when me and Ray were growing up, because I feel like you had the best of both worlds with Toonami and with Adult Swim, where a lot of weird stuff was introduced to me at a pretty young age too. Things like Eureka 7, Big O.
Oh my goodness, yeah, Big O, yes.
Oh.
I was never much of a Big O fan, but I definitely loved watching it on Toonami.
Like, I don't know if anybody's. I don't know if people are like Big O fans, but Big O was there and it was weird.
Big O fan.
It's so cool.
I don't know if you guys know Hermzor, but I introduced Herm to Big O. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Hermzor, of course.
Herm got into Big O. Island Arcade got into Big O. Like a lot of my friends got into it because I had told them you need to watch the show. And it's something that, it was popular for the first season, but then Adult Swim picked it up the second season. They wrote the ending for it. It's got all these weird allegories for religion. It's amazing.
It's very interesting. It is. You should definitely check it out if you could. If you can find somewhere to watch it. It's real interesting.
It's available for free on YouTube.
Oh, really? Sweet. Awesome. So I'll definitely check it out.
I know High Dive owns Big O. They license Big O too.
I think they do. I think they do as well.
And they recently released the Blu-rays as well. So if you don't want to watch standard def on YouTube, the whole thing's on Blu-ray. Yeah,
I need them. But yeah, Mecha. So of course you'll like it.
Of course.
Grew up with Gundam, right?
Oh, Gundam Wing, of course, too. Of course.
Yeah.
Gundam Wing, G Gundam. My heart.
I have never seen one Gundam in my life. I've never seen one Gundam series at all.
What?
Not touch anything.
Now you see what I deal with on a daily basis, Roger. He didn't even reveal this about himself to you. So now you know.
I
did. Ray found about it around episode 12 during the podcast. He found out about it. Wait, you're not seeing one of them. You have to start, and I still haven't started one series of it.
I would say if you haven't started any Gundam at all, I would actually say maybe Big O is your best introduction into mecha because it's so short and because it doesn't really feel like a lot of the other mecha anime.
It's true.
So I would recommend Big O.
Well, I'll check it out sometime this week, and I'll say I'm watching it on social. So people know.
He'll say that he'll watch it, and then I'll be like, "Yo, Miguel, did you watch it?" But oh no, I didn't do that.
I will make a promise right now. By next episode 41 of next podcast, I will watch Big O, the full show. If it has 20-something episodes, I'll watch it. There you go.
I'm just saying, I kept my promise. I started One Piece, and I caught up on Black Clover.
Nice. I have not yet touched Black Clover at all. So
we'll get to that in a bit.
Eventually.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
I have a question about that, so don't worry.
Okay.
I'll get to it.
All right, our next questions. Favorite all-time anime and manga, and why?
I mean, for me, my favorite all-time manga is obviously One Piece. I mean, as you can tell, probably from everything in the background, from the fact that my YouTube channel is literally mostly about One Piece.
That's
I love
true.
One Piece. But it is not my favorite anime. And my favorite anime is something I actually got into last year, which, as many of you guys know, is Hunter x Hunter. Hunter x Hunter completely blew my mind. That show is something I never thought I was ever going to get into. I just thought I missed it at the wrong time, and it was on hiatus for so long.
Who's your favorite character?
Oh, and Hunter x Hunter? Hisoka.
Yeah.
Bro, I have a
Okay.
little statue back there on my shelf. I love Hisoka, yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, I love Kurapika. Kurapika's amazing too. So many of the side characters. I think Meruem was a fantastic villain. Meruem and Komugi made me cry. I mean, everything about Hunter x Hunter is great. Killua, of course.
Killua was my favorite.
So I guess
Lucifer is my favorite.
So I guess I'm the only one here in this panel that have not seen Hunter x Hunter one
I haven't finished Hunter x Hunter. I haven't finished it.
Right.
I've started. I haven't finished it.
So good.
I
did tell you about
wait
it.
for the hiatus. I wait through the hiatus for new chapters.
Oh, it's so good.
Roger, I did tell you when we first got into contact when I started work for you that I told you that I watch almost every series except Hunter x Hunter. And the
I
one thing I'll tell
genuinely
you.
thought you got into it though because you were doing my videos. So now that you're never gonna work for me ever again, Miguel. You never editing anyway.
I just got fired.
Exposed.
I just got fired right now.
Exposed.
This just in, Miguel gets fired. Oh boy.
Live on the podcast, gets fired. But no, I just haven't got the chance to it because I feel like I don't know if I should watch it on my own time or react to it since I know a lot of people, there's a big fan base for it. And because I know Sam has watched it as well. So something that I've been trying to, see if I should watch it on my own time, take my time with it or to watch with somebody else?
You will get viewership if you do it as a live reaction. I'll tell you right now, the Hunter x Hunter fan base is incredible. I mean,
I agree.
Ravenous.
They are ravenous because they're always waiting for new things because there are new manga chapters, so they always need content.
I
So
know.
yeah,
And I'm the patient waiter.
To react to it. Yeah.
Like 7-8 chapters a year, and that's not.
I will say though, my secondary for both manga and for anime, the answer is the same for both. And I'm gonna bring this up. I see JB with his hoodie right now.
Mhm.
Respect, man. Attack on Titan, Shingeki no Kyojin. Fantastic.
We got a live song right here.
Phenomenal, man. I think Attack on Titan is so underrated. I think people really do hype up the anime, but don't really talk about the manga. And as somebody who has read the manga since the first season of the anime ended and has been sticking with it, I truly feel like, and I to the point where I think I've been reacting to Attack on Titan's manga on YouTube as long as I've been reacting to One Piece. You can go back and check the video dates, but I'm pretty sure I've been an Attack on Titan YouTuber as long as a One Piece YouTuber. And people, for whatever reason, because it only happens once a month, they just like don't expect that of me. But I mean, I did reviews of the whole second season. I've done theory videos about it. I love Attack on Titan. And I think the way that Isayama's wrapping up the story right now is just, it's incredible. It really is incredible how he's tying everything together. And you know, unless he makes some huge misstep within the next 6 months, I truly feel like it is going to end just as strongly as it began. And I think people who are not caught up with the manga are in for a really good time for this final season.
Ray is one of the patient waiters.
I couldn't wait. I'm obsessed with Attack on Titan. I have the shirt, the pendant. I have a huge poster on my wall, the manga behind me.
I see your manga behind you, man. Respect.
I'm obsessed, man. It's amazing. I think it has one of the best, most complex storylines of any manga I've ever read.
Yeah.
And I'm just obsessed with it. I can't wait to see how it all comes to a close.
And it's funny, too, because so many people will ask me, you know, to watch these other series, whether it's like things like Vinland Saga or Berserker Kingdom, that are more like seinen-type series. And I say, you know, I'm not really into the violence. Like, it's not really my thing. But then so many people are like, but you love Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan, people are being eaten. You love Demon Slayer. But the thing is, I think when it's a demon or a Titan, it's different to me than when it's a person.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
100%.
And not to, I mean, everybody knows this at this point that the Titans are also humans, but it's the kind of thing where it's like, because they're Titans, because there's monsters, because there's like a meaning to it, and because they kind of have no other choice, it makes sense to me. And so it doesn't really bother me thematically.
I will agree to that. That Roger hates violence, and that's something I found out a lot.
Person,
That's something I found out a lot during my Demon Slayer editing. That I found out a lot about.
Okay, well, that moment. Hold on. Are you all caught up with Demon Slayer?
Yes, I've seen it.
Okay.
So for the anime,
that moment where Muzan in episode 6 or whatever, like grows that person's head back, made me want to vomit. That was one of the grossest things I've ever seen. Oh no, it wasn't Muzan. Excuse me. It was Lady Tamayo and the guy that was with Tamayo.
Yes,
the guy that's forearms.
I hated it. I hated that moment. You were editing that video where I was closing off the camera, man.
So JoJo is a no-no.
JoJo's also weirdly hit or miss for me. So JoJo, I haven't watched
just be careful
all of
spoilers.
JoJo. Yeah.
Because
so
me and Sam are up to the end of part 2, so we're still not even close to any of the other
so
parts.
You're not even like with Stardust Crusaders. So
no,
they're not to like the fun stuff yet.
Stardust to me, without spoiling, Stardust to me is, I feel like, where JoJo begins. And I've seen part 1 and part 2 before.
It's the fun part. Like, I'm being honest, it's the fun part.
Yeah, and I feel like part 2 is something that I've only really watched through once and then was like really far behind. And I never felt the need to rewatch it again. Like I did a live stream. I didn't really need to. Yep. But 3 is, I think, where the hype actually begins. That's like Dio and Jotaro and everything.
Get it stands.
I think that's where, like, the mainstream JoJo fans come from.
That's where the memes come from.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, to be fair, I'm not caught up with the other parts. So I'll eventually get there one day.
You got time.
I got time.
Plenty of time.
And while we're on the topic of you saying favorite anime and manga in all time, just to, you know, to the contrast with it, what's your least favorite anime and your least favorite manga that you have
that's tough. There's a lot of really bad anime and manga, so that's hard. I mean, my least favorite, that's tough in terms of least favorite. I can tell you ones that, like, I'm not a huge fan of that other people really like.
Is Vinland Saga, right?
Well, Vinland Saga, yeah, sure. But the one to me that always stands out where people are shocked that I'm not as big of a fan of it as everybody else. I want to clarify though, because I know there's people listening who are like, there's no way this is your least favorite. It's not my least favorite. This is just what comes to mind in terms of something that a lot of people really like that's not really my thing. Mm-hmm. It's Full Metal Alchemist. I am not a huge...
I know about that.
Okay.
I know.
And it's not even just Full Metal. Because then people go, well, you mean Brother, but you like Brotherhood, right? Everyone likes Brotherhood.
They go, well, yeah, of course. It's like, no.
It's like,
oh, no.
Oh, no. Really. No. To me, for whatever reason, FMA never really stuck with me. I don't have the nostalgia for it, like with the dub that a lot of people had. I tried getting back into it a couple years ago, and it still wasn't really my thing. Mm-hmm. I think the themes are really good. I like some of the characters. I think, like, it's Wrath, right? Is the guy who, like, runs into his own castle with, like, the sword.
Yeah.
That moment is so hype. That character is hype. But like beyond that, I don't know. For whatever reason, it never really stuck with me. But I understand a lot of people have nostalgia for it. And then
I respect it.
I'm seeing this on Sam's wall, so I want to bring this up too. In addition to Attack on Titan, in addition to Demon Slayer, something not a lot of people know about me that I actually do really like that is pretty violent is Tokyo Ghoul. I am actually a very big Tokyo Ghoul fan.
I didn't know about that.
Never seen it. Haven't got into it.
Same here. Never seen or read it.
I think you're better off reading the manga.
Yeah, read it. Don't watch it.
I agree completely.
Like the anime just cut up so much and censor that stuff.
The music is awesome though.
I'll put it at the bottom of the list then.
Yeah, the music's good. The animation is pretty good, but as far as the story goes, I would much rather you read it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For the story.
In terms of least favorite though, I really got to think least favorite anime. Boku no Pico is probably my least favorite anime. I'm gonna tell you right now. Probably Boku no Pico. Actually, no. I've got another one because Boku no Pico is like the troll answer. I'm gonna say my least favorite anime, unquestionably. I know this for a fact now. Unquestionably Pop Team Epic.
Really?
Pop Team
I've
Epic.
never even heard of it.
And
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
Here's the thing about Pop Team Epic is I think I don't want to disparage people who like it. But I feel like a good portion, I would say like 75% of the people who like that show and think it's funny because they have been told that it's funny and are not like actually in on the jokes of the show and then watch it and they're like, oh, but that was hysterical. It's like, not really.
They're like the Rick and Morty fans of anime. I get it.
I can relate to it.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is, Ray. It's the Rick and Morty fans of anime, totally. Mm-hmm. But it's not. I don't want to disparage anybody for liking it. If you like it, that's great.
Yeah, if you like it, cool.
But it is not my thing in the slightest. Yeah.
I can relate to it because Sam tried to put me on to try to watch a a year or 2 years ago.
Pop Team Epic? No. Rick and Morty? Yes, I have.
Yeah, he tried to put me, or let's say somebody tried to put me on to put the show, but I just couldn't get into it because the jokes just went over my head. I just couldn't relate to it. I just
see a lot of it too was that the jokes didn't go over my head, and then I would like upload a reaction, and then people would be upset. They're like, "Well, didn't you think it was funny though?
Why didn't you laugh?"
Yeah, they're like, "Didn't you understand that like Niku is meat and that beef is actually beef, and she's talking about food but also fighting?" I'm like, I get it. I get the joke. I just don't think it's particularly funny.
I get the joke. That's the problem.
Right.
Comedy is one of the most subjective things. Like,
totally.
It's not going to make everyone laugh.
Exactly. With that being said, there's shows like comedy anime that I love. Like Nichijou is hysterical, I think. And people don't talk about it as much, but like Nichijou is so funny to me. But I also know a lot of people who don't like Nichijou. So I get that, you know.
It's like me and Neo Yokio. I love Neo Yokio.
What's Neo Yokio?
It is.
It's Jaden Smith's anime.
Jaden Smith did an anime on Netflix.
It's an interesting
and I
show.
think it's hilarious. But everybody's like, wow, really, Ray? And I'm like, yes, it makes me laugh.
Do you go into it, are you laughing because it's Jaden Smith doing an anime, or are you laughing because it's genuinely funny? I'm
laughing because I know that it's Jaden Smith doing anime, and it's like just, it's so random. Like, it's just like, then, okay, wow.
I feel like I might get enjoyment out of it then if I actually give it a shot.
If you just go into it like this, like if you literally go into it thinking Jaden Smith did an anime.
Right.
It's like,
and myself, I watch it, I felt like I was on a good acid trip where I'm like, okay, I'm entertained, even though I don't know what the hell I'm watching, but I'm entertained. So I had a good time. I wouldn't give it a rate or score, but I was having a great ass time.
That's it. Like, I'm not saying it's one of the best things ever. I'm just like, it makes me laugh. Yeah. That's all that matters.
All right, guys, let's move on to the next question. This is from KidOtaku. What inspired you to do YouTube?
King of Lightning and For Neverworld when I was in college. That's honestly what it was. I was watching the two of them while I was in college. I've talked about this in like other videos and stuff before, but like my One Piece experience, like how I started and when I stopped. And for me, I stopped reading weekly around the end of like my senior year of high school, and then picked it back up again like my junior year of college, which was around like Marineford. No, in fact, no, it was, it must have been sophomore year, because where I picked back up was Impel Down week to week. With the manga. So it was like Impel Down. So I think that was like my sophomore year. But regardless, I picked back up with that, then went through Marineford, went through Fishman Island and everything, and like really enjoyed reading the manga. And I would watch King of Lightning and Forever World's reviews like weekly. And it was one of those things where after I started to make YouTube videos, like I was doing Frozen and Pokemon and like stuff that had nothing to do with anime, I'm like, well, I like watching these guys review it, and this is something I really enjoy. Why don't I just do reviews? Like, I'm sure I could, do the same thing. And so I did. And then I was fortunate to find an audience, and then more of those people watched, and then I got, in touch with the community, and we made history. There you go.
That's a great origin story.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. Outside of YouTube, what do you usually do? Like for job, career, hobbies, or your worst job you've ever taken?
Now. Worst job I ever had was a retail job at Armani Exchange.
Oh,
that was my worst job.
I heard about that.
Oh,
I've played on a stream before.
I definitely did. I think for me, the past 2 years has just been literally full-time content creation. So there is no distinction between like watching anime and manga and gaming in my spare time versus streaming. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the hard thing when you're doing it full-time, is that the stuff that you really love that is normally your hobby becomes your full-time job. And so if you don't like something and then you're forced to do more of it, you sort of will then fall out of love with it, and then vice versa. So it's always like this balance between what do I stream and then what do I play off camera. But in terms of like other things that I like to do, I love cooking. I mean, cooking is probably like one of my other big passions I do off camera. And I live in LA, so I have the fortunate opportunity of being able to go to the beach pretty regularly and go to Disneyland and stuff. And so I'm a big Disney person. Between Disneyland and the beach and cooking, I'd say those are like some of my other hobbies. But
you are making very good points right now.
Really, most of the anime and manga and games that I play, though, I feel like most people who watch my channel or watch me on Twitch or whatever, like, know. I feel like I talk about most of that, and it's up to them to then, my audience, to introduce me to new stuff, to then get me to watch it. So yeah, if it's something that like I'm not streaming, normally I'm not watching it. There's some exceptions to that. I feel like I've watched Agretzko off camera. I watched Kakegurui off camera. Ooh. I watched some other things I watched off camera. Cells at Work I watched off camera. Yeah, so there's like other anime that I've watched off camera, but the majority of stuff, like the main series, whether it's like One Piece or Attack on Titan, Hunter x Hunter, that stuff has all been on camera. Demon Slayer, of course.
Dope.
And to have a little small transition about you cooking and everything, we know, I don't know if the panel or other people know that, but you're a big fan of Food Wars as well.
Shokugeki no Soma, of course. Yeah, I love it.
And you
That's
also
probably top 5 for me. That's actually probably in my top 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
It is. So that's one thing I do know about that with Food Wars is one of your favorite things. How do you feel? Wait, first is, have you read the series? Have you read the manga?
Yeah, of course, yeah. All the way through, including the epilogue, yeah.
How did you feel with the series ending and for the anime coming to an end this spring right now with the last core? How do you feel about that overall?
Totally happy about it, actually. I know there's a lot of people in the community that were upset with like some of the stuff being stuck inside the epilogue. But in terms of like wrapping it up, I was actually really happy due to the fact that there's so many anime and manga that come out that never really do get that like finite ending. And so the fact that Food Wars ended, they were like, you have like 6 weeks to finish it, and you're going to get these 3 epilogue chapters that are also going to be animated for the final season of the anime. That's like more than I can ask for something that I feel is like, it's a series that I really like. Like, I love Food Wars. My girlfriend loves Food Wars. We're both huge Food Wars fans. But I also understand that it's more of like a niche shonen. It's not really something that's super mainstream.
That's true.
Obviously, there's a Toonami dub, and like there are a lot of fans of the show, but it's not like a top 10 best-selling manga or anime or anything like that. So yeah, but I love Shokugeki. Yeah, I love it, and I was really happy with how it ended. I thought the central stuff was all really good. I mean, moving into the blue arc, I thought the stuff with her family ended in a pretty unique way. The only thing I was a little upset about was the final pairing, but that is what it is, And I don't want anybody who's anime,
Let it live where it lies is what I was like.
Exactly. To be honest, they don't confirm it by the ending that like, oh, those two are together. It's just clear that they're like close to each other, which makes sense considering everything that's happened between them. Mm-hmm. But I've always been like Team Soma and Megumi. I think Soma and Megumi are actually who should have ended up together.
It would have been nice.
It would have been nice. Yeah.
Cool.
But on the whole, yeah, I was happy with being able to see like where everybody's stories went and seeing who was eventually on the Elite 10. Those were questions I wasn't necessarily sure were going to be answered. And so, I mean, even that chapter, like I think it was like 30 or 40 before the final arc where they revealed the new Elite 10, that got me so hype. Like getting to see all these characters within that miniature time skip, it got me really excited.
It was well deserved. That was a
great to hear.
well-deserved one. All right, so next question. What did you do in the past at the same time while you were working as any YouTuber?
So I had a social media job here in LA where I was doing contract social media for a bunch of different Disney subsidiaries, whether it was Lucasfilm, Marvel, ABC, Disney Interactive, which is now defunct. So I've worked for literally pretty much every Disney brand under the sun doing contract social media stuff for them. Nice. But initially I had moved out to the West Coast, getting that job initially doing contract stuff with Disney Interactive because I wanted to use that to transition into doing stuff at Nintendo. On the coast. That was like my big thing was I really wanted to eventually work at the Redwood City office or the Redmond office in Seattle. And then what ended up happening was I'd already worked for Nintendo doing contract stuff in Chicago, like as a product demonstrator. And I thought, okay, well, I need to save up enough money and then eventually either move to Seattle or move to Redwood. But both areas are really expensive. And so I thought, okay, well, doing this contract stuff for Disney subsidiaries, that's great. And then getting to transition that into doing some contract stuff for like Microsoft Developer and some other cool Microsoft branding and licensing. And it's just like, it's a whole, my journey of like the first 2 years in LA are just like all over the place because I was working for a bunch of different brands.
But it sounds so LA.
Yeah, it really does.
Exactly.
It really does.
Ultimately, it just came down to the fact that, like, well, I can make more money now doing YouTube full time than I can by working contract for all these other companies. So why am I doing this? Why don't I just quit and do it full time? And it was a struggle. That first year was really rough. I think like 2016 was probably like one of the roughest years in my life because it was the first year I went full time. It was the first year that a lot of other like bad stuff happened with my family. I had like a lot of losses in the family, and I just like was trying to find my footing. But then eventually, you know, things worked out and everything worked out for the better. And now we are where we are.
So on that track, would you do anything different? Like you say you could leave a message in a bottle for your younger self at that point. What would you change any of it?
No, weirdly enough. No, I would say no, actually. Part of me would say, well, you would start like talking about the official release earlier, like for One Piece, because I made that transition pretty abruptly and it really upset a lot of people that I went from the scans to the official release. So I would have said maybe like transition that about a year earlier, like ease into it instead of just jumping right into it. And then at the same time, I think a lot of One Piece people were mad too because the arc that was going on when I made that transition was Whole Cake, which I've been very vocal about not being a huge fan of. And so I think a lot of One Piece fans were like, wow, do you just not love the series anymore? Which was like obviously not the case. You know, clearly I've got like it's all over my favorite thing. It's literally my favorite manga of all time. But I feel like the community was also in a really weird spot where scans were sort of dying down a little bit, and then the official release was picking up, and then there were people who were upset about Whole Cake, or there were people who were upset about Wano Country, and it was either one or the other. And so I would say maybe just ease into it a little bit more, but on the whole, I'd say everything else in terms of covering My Hero when I did with the read-throughs, covering Promised Neverland when I did, covering Demon Slayer and Hunter x Hunter when I did, it's Solo Leveling now. I mean, I feel like everything's working at the right time, and I feel like, you know, you just got to let the tides take you wherever the tides are going to take you, and then ride that
wave.
wave.
The flow.
Yeah.
And plus to say, well, of what you said about 2016, were you ever scared or kind of nervous that those things did not work out the way it did? Because if you being in LA and us, you know, being content creators, and you know, of you trying to follow your dream,
Of course.
Did you ever get nervous about like, oh damn, am I not gonna succeed about that, or you know, do I have to go back home or stuff like that?
It was never that I need to go back home, because I feel like once you've worked for brands like Disney and Microsoft, it's like if you work within social media and you work with those brands, it's pretty easy to then transition into a different job, especially if it's contract, not necessarily full-time. But I think with contract specifically, if I'm like, I've worked for all these companies, I wasn't really concerned that like I'd have to move away from the coast. Like that wasn't something. I never was like, oh, I need to go back to Chicago. But there were definitely times where I was like, is this YouTube thing really something I want to continue to grow and like continue to pursue? When, especially, like I said, during those last, like, however many chapters of Whole Cake Island, when like literally every review I would upload or every reaction, I was getting like people just like sending so much hate to me, being like, well, you don't understand this, and like you suck and you're not the same person you were. And it really did like knock me down a lot. It was, and there were a lot of people within the One Piece community outside of YouTube who were then like, I used to love Rogerbase and now he doesn't love everything. And so I hate him now. And it really like, it took a while for me to understand that like, well, that's their own insecurities, not my own. And instead of, you know, taking it to heart and really being like, oh my God, do people hate me? Like, am I a terrible person? What's going on? But it took a while to actually get to that point and to grow that thick skin. And admittedly, like, it was rough, like I said, for about a year, but it all sort of bounced back.
Nice, nice.
Cool. A little quick question. When you were working for Disney, did they ever give you like a lifetime pass to go into like Disneyland and stuff like that?
So I did actually have access during my first year to be able to go to the parks. Yeah. But funnily enough, I like never went during the year that I did have access to the parks, just because I was so busy with work plus YouTube. So you got to remember, I was working basically a 9-to-5 job, recording my videos when I got back home or streaming when I got back home, in addition to doing Japan time. And so I was doing like literally work from about 2 a.m. or I should say starting at 6 a.m. going until about 2 a.m. And getting about 4 hours of sleep every night. Yeah. Whew. Yeah.
That sounds tough, but now you can choose your own time to sleep and when to wake up.
Of course. And it was always fun. Like whoever I was working contract for, it was always fun, whether it was Microsoft or Disney. I mean, there were brands that I was interested in, but it was definitely the kind of thing where it's like, oh, I'm working for this company as opposed to working for myself. And I'd really like to just get back to working for myself. And so I think that's the other reason too, why for such a long time, I did read the scans as opposed to the official for One Piece, because, you know, for me, the scans would come out late at night and it was literally the only time that I would have to record. So it's like, well, I better read it now. Otherwise I'm not going to have the chance to read it. And it was very important for me to have the weekends to myself to actually unwind. It still is to this day, like to have full on break days where I just unplug and like don't have anything to do with YouTube or Twitter or whatever.
I'm with you on that 100%.
Yeah, it's like so important to have that. I think that's like the one big thing I would tell people who are getting into content creation is like, don't burn yourself out. Like make sure you have a day where you're at least stepping away from everything else and you're going, you know what? This is all, you know, it's all fun and games, you know, doing anime or video games or whatever. But at the same time, like your mental health, your physical health is definitely more important than any anime or manga could ever be. So
me, I am slowly starting to understand that, you know, find time to be with my girlfriend and everything. And plus I've learned that from Ray and James of how they go spend time with the ladies like that. Me myself, I'm starting to learn that myself. I had to find the time with that. So big facts about that.
The lucky thing for me is my girlfriend's also a content creator. And so she understands the grind. So Reagan, like doing all her cosplay and stuff, it's just something that she knows. Or like if I'm streaming and she's in the other room doing costumes, it's fine. And then also now she lives with me too, which makes it a lot easier.
That's
so
great. That's perfect.
I don't have to go and like make time. It's like, no, she's just here already. So
I feel that. And it's one of those things where I could, you know, tell people all day and be blue in the face, but it's like, no, I gotta like live it. I have to demonstrate it. It's like, like if I'm taking breaks, it's like, you know, it's because I'm taking a break to be away from it, because if this burns out, everything's gonna suck.
Exactly.
Everything's gonna suck.
People know. I think people can definitely tell. I think like during, I would say maybe some of last year, but definitely during like late 2018, there were people who could tell that like I was getting frustrated doing like a lot of One Piece reactions or reviews, cranking out theory videos when it was like stuff that obviously I love One Piece. I never wanted to like be in a position where it's like, man, this isn't fun for me. But really for that year, it was not fun for me in the slightest, because like, again, everything I would upload, people would hate on. And then everything that wouldn't, and then when I wouldn't upload it, people were like, why aren't you uploading more One Piece?
Where's the stuff?
You hated it. Why would you want me to upload more? But then it was like, you know, that catch-22 where people just wanted to be heard. So
it's the damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Exactly.
It's a lose situation.
And it's one of those things that once you internalize that and you understand that there's reasoning, that there is no reasoning.
Then it's fine. Once you know that, then you're fine. Yeah.
But that takes a long time. That's not just something that everybody gets. So I'm really happy that you said that. Yeah.
Same.
Very cool. Let's go on to the next question. Will you ever do a reread through of One Piece, the manga?
I will not confirm nor deny. I will not confirm nor deny.
He's in the process of doing
rumor and speculation.
I'm going to tell you. All right, I'm going to be honest, because this is stuff that's probably a ways off. I will be honest with my plans for this. My plan is to do a full read through of One Piece when it's done. So a lot of people have asked me, what are you going to do when One Piece is over? And to me, the honest, genuine answer is like, I'm looking forward to it. Really. Like, I'm actually looking forward to One Piece ending, because to me, looking at the story as a whole and being able to analyze these characters and like where all the hints were from the very beginning, and then being able to reread through the whole series again, like that's exciting stuff to me. And by the point that I'm doing that, I'm sure, because One Piece is such a huge property in Japan, we will probably get an anime that is condensed like a One Piece Kai, which actually is then better and more enjoyable. So there's all these other things that I think will come out of One Piece ending that I'm actually really excited for. And that's not to say I want Oda to like rush through it, but I feel like we've got at least the minimum of like a good 5 more years. You know, once Wano ends, you got like, well, maybe we'll get into this a little bit later, like potential future story arc, so I won't get into it now. But I feel like there's a lot of good content still to come, but a lot of really great stuff on the horizon. Like even the Netflix show, I feel like that I'm actually interested to see how that turns out, you know?
Yes.
So,
and I'm happy you said it, because I've been saying this for the past 10 probably podcast episodes that they should redo with One Piece, because it's so dragged on with the filler and everything. It makes sense because it's a yearly type of anime. It makes sense. It hits on. Toei in the next, after it comes out and finishes, I totally agree. They're gonna have the One Piece Brotherhood version of condensing, and I'm so happy about it. And I'm excited for One Piece to end as well, as what you just said. Just to reread it and the arcs and actually read it from whole. I totally 100% agree with you.
Yeah, and I feel like where we are right now, I mean, it's only getting better. I know there's a lot of people who feel like, oh, Wano isn't as good as it should be. But then to me, it's like, I didn't think Whole Cake Island was nearly as good as it should have been. And so Wano Country is like a huge step up for me. And considering where we are right now that we're out of the flashback, which is the big thing that I feel like a lot of people have had problems with, like in regards to pacing and things, I feel like where we are right now entering the Fire Festival, it's only going to go up from here. Like I can't imagine it not being good when you've got all these characters, these Yonko, these Supernova that have all converged in this one spot that's clearly going to end up in a result in which like the rest of the world has changed moving forward. So I can't wait.
So like the real Fire Festival in the real world.
Right.
I mean, as somebody who's just started One Piece for the very first time, I would absolutely love to have a One Piece Kai type anime. Because I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot. You know, I'm also reading it, and it's like really it's one of those things where I would love for it to be condensed just ever so slightly. But I'm having a great time. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna keep going. I'm not gonna stop. You know, in hopes of that.
Of course.
I'm gonna keep going. But yeah, that'd be so nice.
If One Piece does have like a Kai, it would shut up a lot of people who keep complaining. I'm not watching over 900 episodes. I'm not reading over 1,000 chapters. Yeah. All right, fine. Here's the condensed version. Will you watch it now?
Though, I do feel like that is a valid complaint from a lot of people.
Because it is. That's a lot.
I see people in the One Piece community who are like, no, you just need to sit down and read the whole thing and like just be fine with it. And it's like, it's fine. Like that's true. You're not going to get the full enjoyment out of it if you don't read the whole thing or like watch everything. But there's a lot of people who just don't have that time and can't spend that time to do it. And so my good alternative is like just the little testing the waters to see if you like it. Is just like watch episode of East Blue. And if you like what you've watched of episode of East Blue or like one of the films, then start from the beginning and read from the beginning. But I think there's no harm in like introducing people to one of the specials or one of the TV shows.
100%.
Because I feel like if they like that, then they'll want to go back and reread the whole thing. But I don't think we should force people to like start from the very beginning if it's something that they don't even really feel like they like from the beginning.
That's what I have told James and Ray, because last year I was trying to convince Ray and James to find time, but at the same time I was joking around, but at the same time I was like, hey, just try to watch the one movie of East Blue, see like, or instead read the manga. It's much easier. Read a good 20 chapters and not anything like that. But I understand, like you just said, 900 chapters, 900 episodes is a lot of time. Like that for James or Ray to find the time to actually read that much content, watch that much anime of episodes of one series.
Yeah.
I mean, I had already had one about that long. It is Hajime no Ippo, so I mean, you know, a second one.
But Roger, how would you try to convince like James, who hasn't even touched the series? How would you convince somebody or try to say to watch the series or to like a random person that are not watching this or listening to this? How would you convince them to watch or read One Piece instead?
Like I said, I think episode of East Blue is like a great introduction. I think that is a really good introduction to like the core group of characters from the early East Blue arcs. And then also I would say just like read up to Arlong Park. And if you're not feeling it by Arlong, then I think you just drop it. Like truly. I feel like by that point in the manga, you do get a really good taste of sort of the flavor of the series. And I feel like if you make it to Arlong and you don't feel something, like after, you know, this Nami sacrifice after all these years and Luffy punching Arlong and that whole thing, I think like there's no coming back. I think if you read to Arlong and you don't like it, then you're probably not going to like the rest of the series. Okay. That's just my opinion. Yeah.
All right, cool. This is from Chaotic Plus. He asked, what's the hate on Monoma from My Hero Academia?
Monoma. Oh yeah, I don't really like Monoma all that much. I was thinking like, I'm like the hate on Monoma. I haven't even talked about Monoma in years.
I saw this question and I'm like, who likes Monoma? Why?
Yeah, I don't really hate him. I'm just like, he's annoying to me. He's just like, okay,
he is an annoying character.
Abilities and stuff. He's like, whatever, you know.
I hate Monoma too, so don't worry.
Exactly.
I don't really hate him, but I just don't really like care. There's other characters in 1B that I like more. Like the manga guy who screams out onomatopoeia. He's amazing. I love him.
Oh yeah.
You know?
It was. I couldn't believe I saw that question and I'm like, first of all, who?
Like he talks so much shit. Like he literally has the type of New York attitude that talks so much shit that can't back it up. Like my dude, you're talking shit that you can't back up. Shut the fuck up. That's me.
I mean, it was one of those things where I'm like, you know, I take that back. There is one character that Mineta is better than.
That's true. That's true. Because I just like Mineta. Like I understand you're in high school and you're like just a horny guy and everything.
I used to like Mineta up until one moment. I can tell you the exact moment I was like, nope, I'm off this train. Bye. I used to really genuinely like Mineta. I thought
really
late moment with like Midnight, I thought was really, really funny. I thought the way he acted in the first season like wasn't really all that bad. I thought it was like a standard, you know, Sanji Zenitsu type character. The moment that lost me is when Eri is saved after the overhaul arc.
Yep.
And he's like, hey, I can't wait to see you in 8 years or whatever. And I was like, that is super creepy.
Yep.
I don't like you anymore.
I just reacted to that and I was like,
He did.
Nope.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's why I was like, yeah, I'm done.
It's in line with the character. So I mean, if you like him,
it is. I mean, it's like I've always been like, I've always been on the I hate Mineta train. Always, just because I couldn't stand him. I was like, okay, you're there to like fill this role, you know. But it's like I still hate you.
That's why I'm not bothered by him, because there's so many anime that have that character type. It just is what it is.
And he really doesn't bother me as much as like some of the other characters. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I certainly like Mineta more than like half of the class. I mean, honestly, because it took me years, literally years, to figure out Sato and Koda's name. Like years. I used to call them Animal Guy and Sugar Boy. Like I do that. I'm like, I do that still. Random ass characters that I don't care about, or like Ojiro with the tail. I'm like, I don't care about you at all.
See, and that's what I love about this show is that everybody gets there's so many people who get like a lot of screen time and characterization. Yeah. You have Sugar Boy, Animal Boy, and Tail Guy. Yeah, right. Nobody knows.
Right. I'm also not the biggest Jiro fan in the world. I know a lot of people love Jiro. I'm not really a huge fan of Jiro.
I think after this arc is when I started to like Jiro, current arc, like anime wise.
The anime wise. Oh, yeah, I get you. Yeah.
I was like, no, okay, I see it. I kind of like you, but it's like, it wasn't until Horikoshi was like, oh yeah, I should write about you.
They were good in the movie. I will say that all of these characters were good in the movie, but we can discuss about the movie in a bit. But they were great.
I have some thoughts about the movie, so we'll talk about it.
We can talk about it in a bit, but that movie, all the cast characters outshine great.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. From Hiro Jima on Twitter, what do other mangaka need to do to match One Piece, and which mangaka are the closest?
I would say Togashi would be if he was just consistent. I think Togashi's like incredible. If he was consistent, we had like 100 chapters every week. I think Togashi arguably could surpass Oda. I especially knowing like the history of Yu Yu Hakusho and stuff. I feel like Togashi's pretty amazing. I'm going to probably rustle some feathers with this one, but I feel like Isayama, honestly. I might not have said that like in the first 30-something chapters of Attack on Titan, but seeing where it's gone now and seeing truly that he did have a plan from the very beginning, like that's more than I could say for a lot of stuff that Oda's done. I think sometimes Oda introduces something and doesn't really have a plan and then builds upon it and like sort of backlogs and fixes things and retcons things. Whereas Isayama, you can see from the very first chapter, you can go back and read the first chapter. You see shadows in doorways, and you're like, wait a minute. How did he actually know to do this? And so for me, I got to say Isayama is probably the closest rival.
I would agree to that because I read up to 100 chapters of Attack on Titan. Sam and James are the one that are current ones, like current two right now. So you just made them happy as hell.
Yeah. Next chapter is coming out soon, baby.
And so I can't wait a couple days, man. I can't wait.
Oh man, these are great. James, you had any questions you want to ask?
Yeah, I did. I wanted to know, what are your thoughts on live action anime adaptations? Like,
sure.
Maybe name off a couple that you did like, the ones
Sure.
that you didn't like, and maybe one that you would like to see.
Sure. I did not like most of Death Note. The one thing I did like in Death Note, weirdly enough, was L. I thought L was different enough that I actually was like, I can roll with this. But the majority of Death Note, actually, that's not true. I liked the CG Ryuk as well. I thought Ryuk was fine too.
Oh yeah, Willem Dafoe is the voice.
He was great.
Come on.
Yeah, he was great too. But the rest of Death Note, no thanks. I liked the Tokyo Ghoul live action film. Actually, I thought the Tokyo Ghoul live action film was pretty good, and I liked the live action Rurouni Kenshin films as well. I've enjoyed those.
I also like those. Yep.
Yeah. I think Kakegurui is okay in terms of live action. And they're both on Netflix. You can watch the anime and the live action. Kakegurui is fine. I haven't watched Bleach's live action, but I've heard it's decent.
It's decent.
And then in terms of like other live action anime, I mean, obviously Dragon Ball is abysmal. So the live action Dragon Ball movie is so bad.
What? That didn't happen.
Roger, that never happened. So
it doesn't exist here.
Yeah.
We've never heard of it. It doesn't exist.
What other live action, like James, what are some other ones that you could think of that you'd want my thoughts on? Because
did you see the Attack on Titan one?
Oh, you know what? The Attack on Titan one could have been amazing, and I think they floundered on it a little bit.
Yeah.
The one thing I really liked, I stand by this, I love the actress who played Mikasa. She is perfect. And I liked her from another show. There's a show called Shisuren Chocolatier. It's like a Heartbroken Chocolatier is the name of the show. And it's based on a manga. It's like a J-drama. And she plays one of the love interests on that show. And I was only familiar with that J-drama, then saw the Attack on Titan movie and saw she was Mikasa and lost my mind. And again, I thought she did a really good job with it. And I thought the special effects are actually pretty good as well.
The guy who plays Eren did not work for me at all.
No, I was literally just going to say that. I feel like the Eren really fell flat for me. And so I think that's the big thing that sort of made me want to step away from it. One live action thing I think is amazing. Shout outs to whatever this YouTube channel is that did this. There was a live action My Hero Academia side story. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Where the kid had the power to throw his bag and
he threw the backpack.
Transport.
Yo, yes,
that was
fire.
Absolute flames.
If we got a My Hero Academia show that was like that and animated like that, like
I would cry
for it.
The guy that with the backpack scene, that guy's he's a stunt guy.
Yeah,
and he's so good.
He's
like,
so
good. He was the stunt double for Black Panther. Like,
yo, what? I did not know that about him. That's amazing.
That's sick. Yeah.
That was.
Yeah,
but
so
I
absolutely really like that. Then I really like that. If they were ever to do that, I'd be cool with that.
Yeah,
and again,
awesome.
I'm excited for the live action One Piece. I genuinely am.
And are you gonna try out To Be Sanji?
I know. Well, the One Piece Netflix account liked my tweets and were responding to me and was doing a bunch of stuff. So I don't know, but I probably won't audition for Sanji. But that's only because I happen to know that auditions are going on currently and have been going on for a while. Just because I happen to live in LA and Tomorrow Studios is literally down the block from me. So
okay, that makes sense.
But I will say that I would love to be involved in some capacity if they would have me. And that's where I'm gonna leave it. So,
all right, Netflix, I know you're watching. Make it happen.
And also, if you're gonna have Roger, maybe include us too. Maybe on the side,
there you go.
Those side characters.
Put me on a boat. Yeah, I like it.
Or have Miguel edit something for him so he gets his line on the end credits.
Yeah, right there.
There you go. Yeah. Legitimately, I think because Oda is so involved with it.
Yes,
and
I have high
because
hopes.
it does. I know the writer, so Matt Owens, who's the guy who's writing it, loves One Piece. Loves One Piece. And I think that's such a huge thing when it comes into adapting for live action is you need to have somebody who really is passionate about the source material. And Matt's track record is really good. I mean, he worked on Luke Cage. He is developing currently I think it's for Disney Plus or either that or a standalone side movie. He's developing a Star Wars as well. So the guy's got creds. The fact that you worked on Star Wars and Luke Cage, and then you're also a huge One Piece fan. I feel like that's about as good of a hands as you can get in for the writer. Yeah. So
you have my trust.
Yeah. Now, in terms of casting, I know we joked about the Sanji thing. That's where things could really go wrong. But I think one thing I would really like to see is I think, Oda wrote out before. He said, these are the countries that I feel like all the Straw Hats would come from. I would love to see that in terms of the casting for the show. So someone Japanese for Zoro, someone African for Usopp, that would be sick. Someone Russian for Robin. Like that would be actually kind of fire. Someone Canadian to do Chopper's voice. I don't know, but like
that'd be great.
That'd be great.
Do something like that. I think would be really, really cool because that's already such a part of like the manga fandom too. And I feel like there's a lot of really cool like unknowns that would be out there that could maybe have a really good opportunity with the show. So
and plus
cool.
Sanji
Brazilian with Luffy, like a cool Brazilian guy for Luffy would be sick.
And plus, Sanji's supposed to be Italian, and you're Italian, correct, right?
Sanji's supposed to be French, and I am actually part French. So,
so you see right there, you see it works.
If something happens and you don't get the Sanji part, at least be the assistant director, because you know everything that needs to be talked about and everything discussion.
Yeah,
that's enough credit to that.
I could be a consultant or something. I would love to do that. Yeah, just show up on set and be a consultant. That'd be cool.
Those are some nice credits to a name. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
But also to speak to what James said about movies, you also saw the movie of Sonic, and last year you also saw the movie about Detective Pikachu.
Yes.
Which one did you like more between the two?
I like Detective Pikachu more just because, I grew up playing Pokemon.
Of course.
And Lickitung was in it too, and I love Lickitung. He's my favorite Pokemon of all time.
I know. It's very shocking because I always hate that. No offense.
I have two Lickitungs in... Look at this. I have literally
one on my God.
Here. I got my baby Lickitung. Look at that.
Yeah, right there.
And then behind me, I've got my main Lickitung. Hold on.
Oh, it's the main Lickitung. He's got a side Lickitung and a main Lickitung.
Big Lickitung right here. So
oh my goodness.
Moves on its own.
I am genuinely a Lickitung fan. People think I'm trolling when I say it. I am not.
And
I genuinely love Lickitung. So
it is. And I'm sorry to say this, but you're my boss. But at the same time, I hate Lickitung. That's the worst part.
You are the only Lickitung fan that I know.
Oh,
the only one.
I'm pretty sure.
You're the only one I know. So congratulations.
I take that role as the internet's #1 Lickitung stan very seriously. So, yeah.
Can you put that on a business card? I would love to see that on your card.
I swear to God, the other day I almost changed my Twitter bio to #1 Lickitung stan.
You should have. You should have.
I almost did. Yeah.
That's nice. I love it. Pokemon. That's nice. Oh, and this is something I've joked around. But would you like to see a Smash Bros. Movies with Sonic, Detective Pikachu next?
Of course.
Would you like to see that happen?
Of course.
And plus Nick Fury to come to each of them and come and tell them to join the Smash Bros.
Well, it wouldn't be Nick Fury. It would be Master Hand probably, or Sakurai shows up and he's like, "I want you to join the Smash Initiative" or whatever. It would be sick. Yeah.
All right. So I'm glad.
So there is a Mario movie in development right now.
I heard about
a Mario
that.
film,
So that's true,
animated, and there's rumors of a Zelda Netflix show.
Heard about that.
I also happened to. I guess it's like long enough, and I didn't sign an NDA, so I could talk about whatever. Jim Henson at one point was also developing some type of Nintendo treatment that I don't know whatever happened with that, but like I would really love to see like a Jim Henson Animal Crossing show or something. That would be super sick.
You heard it first, folks.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing, possible Animal Crossing show.
Bro, I wish. Yeah.
But last question. Anime, manga, or Nintendo? If you had to choose for the rest of your life, you had to choose one.
Oh man,
that's rude.
And
Come on.
People are gonna be really mad at.
And for this question is for
answer,
Roger and for Ray, because I know that this for Roger and Ray. You have to choose one for the rest of your life. Go ahead.
That's even more
Roger.
rude.
Go ahead, Roger.
Okay. Will I be able to keep the memories of everything up that I've already consumed up to this point?
Correct. But from here on out, whatever happens with One Piece, TV, anything that goes on my Hero anything in Nintendo, live action, Legend of Zelda, anime, whatever, is only one of those avenues. So anime,
I hate
manga,
this question. This question's
I
stupid.
hate this question too.
Now you're just being mean. Now you're just being very mean.
This was a
my
perfect
answer.
opportunity to use this question out of the 40 episodes. So this was the perfect opportunity.
Right. Here's my serious answer. My serious answer would be that if I could choose when this gets instated, right? If it's like something that's gonna happen, I would probably say that when One Piece's manga ends, I'd be like, you know what? I'm good. And I would be done with anime and manga if it meant that I can keep Nintendo forever. Yeah.
It's going to start the year of 2021. So it's going to start the year of 2021. This is going to be instated. So within that new year and on until you're dead.
I mean, that's like genuinely really tough. Again, okay, when it comes to Nintendo, I have a Switch already, obviously. I have a 3DS. I'm assuming I wouldn't be able to play any of the new stuff, but I'd be able to play the old stuff.
You get to play everything Nintendo catalog, new and old, and with anime manga, new and old. So and then it comes out.
Right. But my point is that if I choose anime and manga, everything up until this point that I've already played, I could still play, right?
Yes.
Oh, then I would choose anime and manga probably then.
Okay. How about you?
Because I think that's so much of a bigger genre, and there are other video games that aren't just Nintendo games.
That's an easy cop out, especially you said 2021 because if Breath of the Wild 2 comes out before then, I'm fine. It's okay. Exactly.
Animal Crossing and Smash Bros. I'm good. And
exactly. It's like I'm good. It's like all right, I'll be fine. Yep, but I'm keeping anime.
But I got to know how One Piece ends, and I want to. And it's also such a big genre. And again, like gaming, it's just Nintendo. We're not saying all gaming.
Exactly.
So like, if it was all gaming, that was easy. Be honest. If it was all gaming, I would say definitely gaming. Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like I like you. I'm similar. I have to see how My Hero ends. Like I have to see that through. Like I want to see.
I can tell you this right now. This is probably controversial. I'm gonna tell you this right now. I think My Hero is going to end very badly. And I think that My Hero is already on a downward spiral. And I thoroughly enjoyed the current stuff going on with Mirko, but I think as I went through the Villain Academia arc, I went, you know what? I don't think this thing is for me anymore. And I think this is not going to end in the way that I think it should end and deserves to end.
I think it's going to be short. I think it's going to be a lot shorter than people expected.
I don't. I think My Hero Academia is going to go on for quite a long time still. And I feel like it's going to overstay its welcome, most likely.
We'll
Interesting
see.
take. I haven't seen this take in a while with your My Hero content, so I didn't know about this. Interesting.
So I did read through last week. So literally it was Sunday. I just
it was recently.
Sunday. I'm completely caught up to the manga, and I was only 8 chapters behind. The Mirko stuff is great.
It is great.
It's great. But I think the further we move away from the hero stuff and the more we really try to focus and sympathize with the villains, the more I'm sort of like falling out of love with it. Because it's one thing to characterize villains, and I think like what they've done with Twice is really good. And I think what they've done with Hawks is really good too. But at the same time, the way they built up Shigaraki's backstory, something about that really just did not sit right with me. The way they were like,
I see.
Trying to have you sympathize with him. And I think even a lot of the stuff too, where I see like stands on Twitter who are like, Toga's the greatest and I love Toga. It's like, okay, I understand that like that's her way of sharing love, but at the same time, like,
well, also she killed people in weird.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, So it's
I see exactly what you're saying. It's just
I think if My Hero continues down the Mirko side of things, right, where we are now, where it focuses on the heroes and then like the heroes versus the liberation, great. But if it continues to
show both sides,
try to that's good to show both sides, I think. But if it continues to try to make us sympathize with the villains in the way where it's almost like taking away from the main characters, I think that would probably become an issue for me. Because I think with the Villain Academia arc, right, we stepped away from Deku for I think a little too long.
Oh, it was a long time. Yeah,
it was a pretty long time. And then I think in addition to that, just prior to that, I loved the Endeavor arc. I would say Endeavor arc's probably my favorite arc in all of My Hero.
Thank you. It is one of the best.
It's one of the best. But I would say that the Endeavor arc did not feel like we were away from Deku for that long because what he was standing for and the thing he was carrying on through All Might is still directly in relation to our main character. Whereas the Gogato Makia stuff, it's like, oh, we're going to train in this forest for a while and then take on these liberation people. Like, I understand that it was important to then build up, like, oh, this is how the League of Villains becomes powerful and gets the liberation force.
Right.
And I get that completely. But I just think it went on for a little too long and removed us so much from the story that, like, the fact that we're still not even out of their first year is, like, a problem, I think.
Yep.
I do understand that.
I see your issues with it.
I love the way you put it because it shows that people could have opinions, but also respectfully put it in a good conversation.
Oh yeah, I mean, I still love,
no, it's great.
I still love My Hero. Yeah. It's just one of those things that like I could definitely see, especially like with how Attack on Titan's going right now, and even One Piece. I'm like, I could see the pieces going in place where even if there's something I don't like necessarily, like I could still see the end game. And
but My Hero, you don't know where it's going.
My Hero, the end game is like so fuzzy to the point where, like, it's a good thing to not know what's going to happen.
This is exactly what I was about to say.
But I feel like it's so fuzzy and it's getting so muddled and they don't know really what they want to focus on that now the series itself has sort of lost its way with what it was in the beginning, which is literally Deku telling the story of how he's the #1 hero.
Exactly. It's like
why the hell would Deku have a 20-chapter interlude about like, oh, and anyway, I'm going to be the #1 hero, but here's these villains. Or like, I'm going to be the #1 hero, but here we're going to focus on Endeavor. I'm the #1 hero, but let's focus on this like 1B, 1A fight that's pretty much a repeat of what we already had during the sports festival. Let's focus on, like, there's a lot of problems, I feel. And I think Endeavor was the closest one removed from the story that I felt really still did hit home with like Deku's ideals and like where the story was going. But the one that I really think people sleep on, and I'm shocked that people hate the story arc, is the one going on currently in the anime, is the Gentle and the Brava stuff.
Thank you!
that is so
God dang it!
His power sets and like understand like that is clearly important. And then building into like his relationship with Eri and then Mirio and trying to like make her happy and what it means to be a hero. That's so crucially important. So to see
I hate seeing that. I hate seeing that on Twitter.
When I say this is one of the best arcs in the entire series.
I agree. And there's a lot of people who I think they like My Hero because of the characters and not necessarily for the story itself. Whereas most of the time when I like an anime and manga, it's not just because of the characters, because of the story.
100% agree.
And so when the story's so oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was gonna say that 100% agree because Ray reacts to the My Hero anime. And during the arc about Overhaul, it was getting 100, 200 views all the time. But now this arc is getting 40, 60 views. And I hate it when I see on Twitter people saying, oh, this is just filler arc. I'm like, how is this filler arc when this was part of the manga? And I'm like, Ray is giving great discussion about how this is a great arc in the reaction and in the review, but nobody's watching. I'm like, this is such a good thing, and I'm loving the conversation that Ray's giving, but nobody's watching because people are calling it filler arc. I'm like, these are the other students that
they
need to
think
get
it's boring.
Spotlight.
Makes
sense.
Right.
Yeah.
And
we're watching
like you're giving this opportunity. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, James. I keep cutting you guys off.
No, you're fine. I was just gonna say we're watching these kids in high school grow their abilities, coming into their own people. Stuff like this is really important for the story. It has nothing to do with filler. Everyone here has seen Heroes Rising, right?
Yes.
There's so much stuff in the Gentle arc that leads up to the abilities that we see in that movie. It's all very important. You need to see that process. And I think the creator of My Hero Academia is very focused on the universe instead of just individual characters. We see the story through these characters, but his focus is the universe itself, the universe of heroes and villains, and that's why I think like that's where it's going. There's
and I feel like that's also part of Horror Coach. I don't want to say problem. It's just that right now the pacing it's so macro at this point
I will say,
that it makes it very ambiguous. And so when he zooms back in on his main characters, then people will be like, "Oh, okay, I get it."
And but I think Horikoshi is struggling from YouTuber syndrome. And what I mean is this: is that his audience is there for one specific thing. And I feel like the big thing, the mainstream reason why a lot of people like My Hero, they could give two shits about the story. They are there for the characters. It's truly. They're there for the pairings. They're there for the characters. They're there to see like their characters do their favorite thing. And when you have a cast that is as big as My Hero Academia, but you're trying to tell a story and you're trying to appease that audience. And then the audience is then yelling back at you when it's like, well, I didn't get enough of this character. So you go, okay, well, I'm going to write a villain arc. Then you write the villain arc. And then suddenly you've got these people who are like, well, I don't like this. Go back to the children. You go back to the kids. He changes the story. People yell at him. Like literally every little thing he gets in trouble for, I feel like.
He has been getting from the past 6-8 months.
He's getting death threats and stuff. It's like, people need to calm down.
And that's why your favorite character is about to start dying. He's tired of y'all shit.
Exactly. I completely agree.
And then the whole doctor name conspiracy
James brought up a really good point, which is that James mentioned that it's the story itself is building up more into the universe of the heroes versus the villains and not Deku as a whole. And I think that's really why I'm falling out of love with My Hero. I still like it, obviously, a lot. I still enjoy it. But I am falling out of love where I was with it because I could tell that is the direction the story is going. And if it doesn't go in that direction and we do get more of Deku, great. But like the fact that you find out this thing that Deku has all these quirks inside of him, and then right after that we like step away from that for 20 chapters completely.
That threw me off as well.
Weird. Or even like, I understand the necessity of having the 1A and 1B stuff be fleshed out the way that it was with Shinso eventually joining one of the main classes and discovering Black Whip. And like, I get that. I understand why that was there. But I think that story arc suffered from them really trying to give a moment for each of these kids in the class. Because everybody wants their favorite characters moment as opposed to just focusing on Deku Bakugo Todoroki, you know?
Exactly. Agreed.
Yes. Thank you so much for voicing that because it's really important.
It is. It's very important where a lot of people like to discuss because a lot of people like to say that Twitter is like the court of justice, that what they say about filler is filler. I'm like, no. You're not the writer.
And
Twitter is an echo chamber.
The fandom at this point is also kicking themselves in the foot, I feel like. Because like the fandom, they're cannibalizing themselves, right? The fandom, they're angry with each other so much that the series itself is sort of like dying down in popularity. And I think like truly Demon Slayer is what everyone moved on to. I think the majority of like mainstream My Hero fans who were super into it, like season 2, season 3, probably have not watched most of the season or dropped midway through Overhaul and are now totally into Demon Slayer. And I think, and you could see it, like the trajectory Demon Slayer's on is what My Hero was on 3 years ago. And that's
very true.
It was there was a moment, and then they waited too long, and then it dipped. And that was it. You know?
Yep. You're right.
I definitely 100% agree.
Now I'm ready for Bleach to come back. So let's go. Yeah.
Even though Roger, stop Bleach.
That's right. I do want to bring it back one day. It was just one of those things that it hit at a weird time where like I was in the midst of all this stuff with like the scans versus official release with One Piece. And then like a lot of games were coming out and like it was a Smash Brothers year. And so I wanted to really focus on that. And it was just like there was a lot of stuff happening where I realized like, no, I need to sort of take a step back. And instead of really focusing on doing all of these series, because at the same time I was doing read-throughs of My Hero and Promised Neverland, and I was trying to do a Naruto read-through too, and I was watching Hunter x Hunter. It was just too much.
That's
stuff.
A lot.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
I will eventually get back to Bleach, I feel like. But I just don't know when.
But for what you watched, did you at least enjoy Bleach?
Of course. Yeah. The thing I didn't enjoy was just the reaction of people being like, "Oh, Bleach is terrible. Why are you watching this?" And it's
a lot of people said that, right? A lot of people said that.
I'm like, people ask for me to watch Bleach. Why are you asking me to watch it and then not watching the videos or saying in the videos, why are you watching this? It's like you literally asked for me to do it.
The internet.
Yeah, exactly.
Trolls. It's like trolls, internet, hate people, complaining.
But only like 1% where people be like, "Oh, great thing."
Yeah, I mean, Bleach is a lot of fun. Yeah. It's just that Kubo also does that thing where he has this story that he's telling, and then all of a sudden he's like, "But wait, I want to tell this story too, but I got to come back to this and wrap it up in a way that everybody likes everything that I've told you so far."
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So does anybody have any more questions for Raji before we move on to the other type of discussion? Or
Actually, I do have one more question for you.
Keep it coming. I love this.
So you started with YouTube. YouTube was where you started. Now with live streaming becoming more of a focus for content, how do you feel that it affects, I guess, kind of the anime and manga space? Like the live readings that you do, like the reactions that you're doing live, are they adding to, I guess, the audience that you're building, or is it building two separate audiences, or are they kind of combining?
Interesting. I think it's a mix of both, weirdly enough. I feel like with YouTube, when it's a live reading, I think there's a lot of like people who are already there, subscribed to me, who then like have recommended me the series, and so I'm getting into it, and then like I find new people through those videos getting recommended through other people. So like Solo Leveling, for example, I've had like a nice little like growth spurt on YouTube because of Solo Leveling, and those videos are doing incredibly well, and we get tons of viewers. Whereas like when I was watching Bleach, right, it was on Twitch. Even though the audience is much bigger, I feel like it's a much more mainstream series. People just weren't as interested in it. So it really just depends on the passion of my own community. As to like the future of like where things are going with read-throughs or watch-throughs or whatever, I just think YouTube needs to get their stuff together when it comes to copyright stuff. I think
I do agree.
Anime, there's no reason why I shouldn't like be able to do an anime watch through that I'm doing on Twitch in the same fashion that I'm doing on YouTube without getting immediately copyright stricken and like getting everything demonetized. And I think
agree.
Twitch is much better in the anime space, whereas I feel like the manga space is actually better and the discussions are better on YouTube than they are on Twitch. Because I think a lot of people on Twitch are there for the hype moments of an anime series. I think like Demon Slayer was perfect for Twitch. Like what we did with Demon Slayer, Miguel, that was like perfect. I think 4 live streams, knock out the series, 4 streams on Twitch, get it done and over with, and move to the next thing. I think was like good to go. And I wouldn't have changed how I did Demon Slayer or Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah.
But I really do like the format that I'm doing now with the read-throughs, albeit for like My Hero or Solo Leveling or whatever that's on YouTube. I just think the format is better and the audience is better on YouTube, and it makes for better discussion.
And would you prefer, to what Ray's saying, streaming or to pre-recorded videos?
Oh, streaming, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. If I could just stream every single thing, I would just do that. Like I would literally never make videos ever again. If I could just like stream a live discussion or a live theory, or if I could just stream like playing a game and not have to worry about viewership or not have to worry about like videos being too long or too short, bro, I would literally just stream every day.
That's
like,
me.
People would get so much more content from me because I would jump from back to forth. I'd be like, all right, we're going to read a couple chapters of Hunter x Hunter. I'm getting kind of bored of this. Let's go play some Smash Bros. All right, time to like watch an episode of anime and then be done. And that would be my stream for the day. And it would be like categorized and it'd be good. But I know the world doesn't work like that, and I know people want like small little chunks of videos and stuff, and so hence why I do videos. But yeah, if I could give up like making videos and just stream, bro, I would totally do that. It's because it's more fun because I get discussions like this with you guys. I get, you know, to talk with my audience. I get a good idea of like what's important to people in the world right now. And it's cool. I like having that like one-to-one interaction with people.
Like that. Yeah.
One question popped to my head. I know that you watch a lot of anime and manga, play a lot of gaming, but do you find time to actually watch a lot of TV shows and plus movies as well?
Yeah, so I watch usually about 2 to 3 shows per season. Okay. So I do like to keep up with a lot of stuff. For me, a lot of the stuff that was super popular in the past couple of years is just stuff I didn't really like. There's a show that I watch weekly called Manifest that's on NBC that's really good. I like Manifest. Manifest is good. I actually like The Bachelor in Paradise. It's like dumb, trashy like reality show. Not The Bachelor. The Bachelor in Paradise in particular. There's a difference. The Bachelor, like they're trying to find love seriously. And The Bachelor in Paradise is all like the trashy people who didn't actually find love, who all just like sleep with each other on the island.
They're just trying to bang on an island. Gotcha.
Love
all
it,
right,
love
gotcha.
What does that sound like? Jersey Shore?
Yeah, what is? It's less trashy than Jersey Shore though, which is why I like it.
Less trashy, all right.
Yeah, okay. I love like all the
titled episodes,
dude. Like I love Hell's Kitchen, Kitchen Nightmares, all that stuff. I love that.
Love those shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love MasterChef Junior. Gordon Ramsay's the GOAT. And then I would say like in terms of other Netflix shows, I just watch whatever's like on Netflix. So I've binged most of the new shows that are on Netflix, whether it's, you know, Russian Doll was last season. I watched all of Russian Doll, Black Mirror.
Did you catch The Witcher?
The Witch, I haven't watched any of The Witcher yet, but I've heard that it's something I probably would not enjoy from my girlfriend who has watched it.
The violence thing, yeah.
It's not as violent though. It's just that, like me, I had to realize by the 34th episode that it's convoluted with timeline, and you have to understand it later in the line. But if you like structure, storyline, and actual really be into it, I think you will like it. But if you probably might lose interest fast, probably by the first, second episode. But
if you have patience and enjoy a good story, you're in
terms of other recent shows that I've really liked, I loved Mandalorian. Did you guys watch The Mandalorian?
Yes.
I did not finish it.
The Mandalorian was literally better than half of the Disney-owned Star Wars movies. Like, it was so good.
It's my favorite Star Wars thing.
I would say The Mandalorian is better than the entire sequel trilogy.
It's my second favorite Star Wars thing.
I would agree. I would say it goes Mandalorian, tied with Rogue One for me. And then I would say Solo. And then I would say Force Awakens. And then I would say like a huge jump down, Rise of Skywalker. And then like an
even lower
down, Last Jedi. Yeah.
Yes.
So for me is Star Wars Rebels, Clone Wars, and then The Mandalorian, and then
Rebels is really good. But Rebels is good. I would say Rebels is on like the level of Solo, I would say, for me.
Yeah, same here, because
I like Rebels.
I just for me, I just haven't finished Mandalorian. That's what for me is right now is number 3, because I've only seen the first 4 or 5 episodes, so I still need to finish it. And then all the way below is the Star Wars movies, because I still haven't finished the last one, so I don't know. I just never went to see
Rogue One to me, it's funny because that was one of the last projects I worked on when I was doing contract stuff for Disney.
Nice.
So I have a lot of like weird, just like off the cuff stories about like weird office things that happened when I was writing social calendars or whatever.
Respect to Gary Whitta. What a nice young man.
Man, I like that movie. Went through a lot of stuff, dude. Like in terms of like reshoots, in terms of what the movie originally was, like the version of the movie that I saw during the screener for like employees versus what came out, very different.
I heard.
Things that
you can tell by the trailers too. If you look, if you analyze all of the trailers, it's different than the movie in a lot of different places.
As somebody who literally did social posts at the time they posted the first Rogue One trailer, very interesting to note. You watch the first Rogue One trailer, and Jyn Erso says, "Well, it's a rebellion. I rebel." That's not in the movie.
Yep,
literally,
not in the
movie at all. Not in the movie at all. A lot of stuff like that. And I feel like, dude, that ending scene of Rogue One with Darth Vader just like obliterating everybody on the ship is one of the best
Still have not seen Rogue One.
Star Wars moments of all time. What?
I lost my shit. It was great.
It's so good.
Awesome.
When he throws
and plus it's on
bodies up
Netflix.
and just like, oh, it's so good.
Because that's
so
the closest we'll ever see Darth Vader doing some badass shit.
Yeah.
Check the comic book, Sam. Check the comic books. It's still good there.
I would say in terms of other TV shows, because you asked me other shows that I watch, there's a huge one that I'm debating doing content for it. I like it so much. I genuinely really like it. The show is called Terrace House. I don't know if you guys have heard of
Never
Terrace
heard
House.
of it.
I have
James,
not.
you?
I think I have.
You guys are going to binge this on Netflix tonight. I guarantee you're going to watch one episode, be like, what is good about the show? What is Roger talking about? And you're going to end up watching 10 episodes and be like, oh my God, I can't believe this person slept with this person or likes this person. It is so good. It's a show that, first off, I will say this, if you guys need a little bit convincing, it is Ichiro Oda's favorite show.
Oh.
He has gone on record saying he loves Terrace House. He watches it every week, and he is very good friends with one of the panelists on the show.
Opening New Doors.
Terrace House. Opening New Doors is the second to newest season. So there's the original season is Boys and Girls in the City on the American Netflix. There's more on the Japanese one. Boys and Girls in the City. Then there's Aloha State. Then there's Opening New Doors. Then there's Tokyo 2020, which is the current one going on right now. I would say start with Boys and Girls in the City and literally just all I'm going to say, it's 3 guys, 3 girls living in a house together. And it's like, you would think, okay, it's like Big Brother.
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong, right. But
2015.
it's so interesting because I think it gives a really good view into what modern life is like in Japan. Like if you don't live in Japan, like what is Japanese slang right now? Like what are things people are into? What's like the popular shows and movies that people like? You know,
you're right. I'm gonna like this. Thanks, Roger.
Add it to my list already.
I just added to my list too.
And the show about Terrace House, the thing about Terrace House is that unlike other reality shows where you just like watch these people living in a house, the fun part is there's a panel of also 3 girls and 3 guys who commentate on everything that's happening in the house and analyze like every little thing. So why did this person go to the fridge at this time and get water? Was it because they wanted to talk to this person? And like, and they're just genuinely really funny. And I think it's the kind of thing that you just need to watch to understand why it's good. But I've literally never found somebody who has watched it and disliked it. It's one of those things that like, if you go in knowing that it's kind of slow and boring and it takes its time, you're going to enjoy it. Just because, again, you get like a good grasp of what the culture is like in Japan. And you don't really get that from any other show. And Netflix, I think, does a great job translating it. And I think the panelists make it really funny. So I'm all
my
about
Netflix list is like, what the hell is he doing? He never had stuff like this to his list. What's going on?
Definitely start with Boys and Girls in the City. That's the very first
I just added it,
season.
so I'm gonna see, and hopefully my girlfriend watches it too, because we cannot get into one show or ever finish one show. So hopefully,
I would be surprised if she doesn't like it.
Roger, one question though: are they living in a tiny house? Because that's the only way my wife will watch it.
Live in a really so it's small compared to American standards, but it's like a beautiful house.
If I convince her that it's about people living in a smaller house, she'll be like, oh, okay, she's on a tiny house kick right now. So
it's 3 girls and 3 guys living in a house, just like sharing rooms and hanging out with each other.
And how can that go wrong?
Yeah. And like I said, Oda absolutely loves it, and he's brought up multiple times on the show. In fact, one of the characters on the Aloha State season like gets this girl to make out with him to have them watch One Piece together. That's literally like their date. Okay. He sits and watches One Piece, and then Oda comments on it. So it's like they bring up like they play Switch a lot on the current season. They're like playing Smash Bros in the playroom. There's like a bunch of stuff like that obviously directly correlates to things that we like. There's a guy in the current season who is a mangaka. So like he like is writing a story that's in Japan that's currently being published. So like he's on the show talking about what he's looking to include, and like you see him actually animating and drawing the manga in the show, which is really
pretty cool.
So,
is it like a reality show?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
It's not the Guardian of the Witch, right?
No. I really do feel like you guys will like Terrace House. And my plan is I want to do a live reaction stream, like watching the final episodes of the last season. But I also feel like I'd rather do like a rewatch from the very beginning, knowing everything, and getting new people into it, and then having them watch with me weekly. And then by the point of the next season happening, everybody's up and caught up to date.
You just got 4 people included.
Yeah, you did. I'm curious.
That's it, man.
Me too.
You're much better at selling shows than Miguel, so this is great.
Yes, you are. 100%.
Damn, guys, that hurts. Come on. I'm not that bad.
The truth hurts.
And then let's get back from that question you just hit us with, too.
I was going to say, you asked me, are there other things that I watch outside of anime and manga and stuff? And it's like, clearly there's a bunch of answers for you right there.
I'm glad to hear that. So
I consume a lot of entertainment. I see movies all the time, too. Yeah.
That's good because we each here have our own field. So that's why I just asked that question, because James is more known about his podcast about the Careful for Spoilers, and that's about movies and TV. So I want to
nice.
have a question about that.
Nice. Yeah, I love it. Movies.
Yeah, what was the last movie you saw?
Sonic the Hedgehog, actually, last week.
Okay.
I literally just saw Sonic last week. Did you see it?
Yes,
Yeah, I did,
I think
yeah.
we all saw it. Yeah,
We all saw it.
I thought it was better than I was expecting.
Same
I
here.
was expecting
Agreed.
an absolute train wreck, and it ended up actually being kind of cute.
The thing is, I think we all went in expecting it to be bad.
Yeah, we all did. I definitely did.
Yeah,
So while we're on the topic of it, how do you feel about the conspiracy theory that
Oh,
there
God.
were
Yes.
the two
Tinfoil
designs
hats
were
on.
the two
All right.
designs were already designed, and they just put out one to see how it would do.
Test the waters. I actually
just to
believe
test the
that
waters.
completely. Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, I do too.
I do. Knowing how the film industry works, I believe it. That there was something that they focus tested. I don't believe there was any world in which they focus tested that hedgehog and then people were like, yeah, we love that design. I think if anything, they focus tested multiple designs. That one hedgehog was the one that people reacted the most negatively to. And knowing the Sonic community and like the memes that come out of it, they were probably like, you know what would be really good marketing, get people talking about the movie? If we have this really ugly design and we know we're gonna delay the film anyway, and so we're just gonna have this new design go in. I think there was a lot of stuff that did need to be reanimated.
Oh yeah.
They probably animated the majority of the movie with that in mind still, despite that. But I feel like and the animators have gone on record who've said, you know, that they worked really long hours to then reanimate and get all that stuff done. But I feel like they had tested multiple designs and teased that one first to get people talking.
I definitely agree with that because that is definitely the film industry. And I agree with James said. Same thing I believe of that being like a marketing strategy, but marketing strategies, that's how they work. And that's how they say, yo, how can we have people name of Sonic in their mouth? And this is how they did it.
I'd be curious.
I mean, it's making money.
It was a hell of a gamble if it was a plan. Hell of a
We're
gamble.
on the topic of movies. I'm curious, what were everybody's top 5 movies of last year?
Did I even watch 5 movies last year?
That's the same question I have for myself.
So I got you. Let me just pull up my list.
Cool.
Roger, can I count movies that are animated?
Of course.
All right, so I'm gonna give you my animated list of 2019 then because I don't. Wow, that just threw me off. Okay, let's
so
go.
I got my list. So I have my top 10 movies of 2019.
Cool.
So at number 1, 1917. Number 2 was Joker.
Nice.
Number 3 was Parasite.
Yep.
Number 4, Avengers Endgame. Number 5, Us. Number 6, Marriage Story. Number 7, Jojo Rabbit. Number 8, Uncut Gems. Number 7, John Wick Chapter 3. And number 10, Midsommar.
I just saw 2 of those films, and that was John Wick and that's Avengers.
Yeah, same.
I would say my number 1 is definitely 1917. My second is Parasite. My third is The Farewell. I think that was so snubbed at the Oscars. I mean, it won the Golden Globe. It's like, how the heck did you not get a nomination? Yeah, so I love that.
Awkwafina should have won. It's insane.
Yeah, I really, really liked Frozen 2, which I know is like a weird opinion. I love Frozen 2.
Oh, not at all.
Yeah, but I really enjoyed it. And then I would say my number 5 is a tie between Jojo Rabbit, because I really like Jojo Rabbit, and Marriage Story.
Yeah, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
amazing movies.
Can I give my movies of last year? Because honestly, I don't have a record for it, and I don't know what I watched last year.
Wait. I forgot about The Irishman.
Oh,
I forgot about The Irishman.
That was actually pretty good.
Wait, that's not a documentary? What?
No, it's not. It's actually a movie.
I forgot about The Irishman.
It's because that's a 3-hour film. That's why.
Yeah.
I didn't.
I think it's probably at 6 for me still. I would probably say it's.
I didn't think it was that good. I was like, this is a fine mob movie made by Scorsese. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine
for it to be nominated for all of the different Oscars. It was that doesn't make any sense.
That's how I felt about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I did not enjoy that movie at all. Okay. And people loved Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
You're not the first person I've heard say that. A lot of people who were close to me said they didn't like that. It happened. So for me, because I only go to the movies to watch like comic book
Marvel.
Movies.
Sure.
I liked Shazam. I liked Endgame. I liked Detective Pikachu. I like Far From Home, and I like Parasite.
Nice.
Those are the ones.
I will take Ray's list except Parasite. I will add another movie that I don't know that comes to my head, but I'll take that list as well for movies that I saw last year because I don't know.
See Parasite as soon as humanly possible.
Parasite is such a wild ride.
Don't know anything about it going into it. Just go into it blind.
Yeah.
And it's
no lie, when I first heard of Parasite, when one of my coworkers asked me, "Hey Miguel, was this Parasite type of movie?" I'm like, I know that's a Korean movie, but maybe it's adapted from an anime. I told him at that time I didn't know what it was. I didn't pay attention because I just was so tired from like the day of. So I was like, I don't know, probably should adapted from an anime. I don't know. So I was but then a week later I find out that's getting so much buzz. Like, oh, so that's what Parasite is.
And if any of your viewers are interested in movies, go see 1917 while it's still in theaters.
Yes.
I'm serious.
Yes.
It is a cinematic masterpiece, dude. That movie, just the beginning shot and the ending shot, the score, the way the film is shot itself, the acting is phenomenal. Yeah, it's meant to be seen in theaters. And I think there's going to be a lot of people who are waiting until it's on Netflix or Prime. Don't. Go see it in theaters.
Yes,
So,
please.
Wait, one more thing I got to say in terms of movies. I'll ask you guys, I'll pose this question to you guys. What is your most anticipated movie of this year? And if it's not Tenet, why is it not Tenet?
It is 100% Tenet. 100% Tenet.
I don't think I've heard of Tenet.
Tenet's going to be wild.
It's Nolan's next film. It fucks with time and
Nolan's next film.
It looks wild.
Wait.
Did you watch the prologue for Tenet?
I
did.
How do you spell that?
Bro, potentially in the Inception universe.
T-E-N-E-T.
It seems like it could be in the Inception universe where they're not going out with the sleep gas. Bro, if that is a twist, Inception 2, I'm going to lose my... Inception is my all-time favorite film of all time. All time. My favorite film ever.
Still haven't seen Inception either.
Dude, what?
It's on Netflix, bro.
With you?
It's on Netflix.
Well,
Look,
guys,
Miguel, look.
Our guest
You
has
just
left.
shoo away our guest.
Look.
Damn it, Miguel.
Well, guys, our guest has left the show.
In college, I watched a lot of movies because that was the time of my life. And Inception was one of the best movies.
I have a
Period.
small gap of movies, manga, and TV. Oh no, sorry, not TV because I watch not TV. Movies. So movies, anime, and manga. A gap of not watching stuff, and that was 2006 to 2011, and that's when
I'm gonna need you to watch Inception.
So,
Please,
It's on Netflix
you
now.
have to see Inception.
It's
dude.
wild.
Yeah.
Well, Miguel, if you
Tenet
weren't
looks-
fired before,
Tenet
you're
looks
really fired
amazing.
now.
You're
I think
now.
you're done. You're
But guys,
toast, kid.
I'm fine now. So,
Yep.
yeah. So Tenet. I never knew about that. Definitely.
It looks good. It looks super good.
I didn't know about this movie. It comes in July. July 7th.
I think I'm still excited about the James Bond movie.
Didn't the
I
James
mean,
Bond
you-
movie get
you should
pushed?
be.
I think I'm-
back.
Right?
I thought my outrage at Miguel not seeing Inception was the perfect opportunity to go pee because we've been saying
that was an excellent time. You're
So,
right.
perfect time. We've been recording behind the scenes and everything for almost an hour and 40, and actual video probably an hour and 20 or
and
50.
prior to this, you got to remember I was streaming for 4.5 hours
So-
doing
so-
solo leveling too.
totally
It's true
understand.
day, bro. Yeah.
So we fired Miguel for you while you were
Yeah,
gone.
excellent. Miguel, dude, Inception is on Netflix, bro.
Yeah.
So I've been fired 3 times here, guys.
Watch
I've been fired 3
Inception.
times.
Watch Inception tonight. Don't wait. Watch it tonight, Miguel. And
Tonight.
then after you watch Inception, fall asleep to one episode of Terrace House and then just play that on repeat with your girlfriend. That's what you should do.
So my homework from my boss is telling me to watch Inception,
Yep.
Big O, and Terrace.
Big O you don't need to watch right away. Big
No,
O,
not right away.
You can
You
save
wait.
Big O.
Big O right away. You can wait. But Inception is like,
Save Big O for a rainy day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
that's
so
like
my
saying
homework.
you never saw like North by Northwest or something.
Hey,
I mean, you
babe.
need to see Inception. You know?
Babe, I got homework today from my boss, so I can't spend time with you.
got
All right, cool?
homework today.
You sleeping right now? All right, cool. You're not paying attention.
Oh,
Perfect
by the
timing for
way,
this joke.
I lied. I think my most anticipated movie this year is Wonder Woman 1984.
Me too. Thank you. I was going to say
That's,
it.
that's number 2.
That's my number one.
That is my most anticipated.
Number two.
Like, I really want to see Tenet, but I love the first Wonder Woman movie. I really
I'm
want to see.
curious
Me
about how
too.
they're going to bring back Chris. So that's why I'm really curious about that. So I'm
Comic
really
book-
I don't know how Kristen Wiig is going to play Cheetah, but like I'm ready for it.
I'm ready to see exactly.
Yeah.
I'm ready to see that. I'm like,
Yeah.
how they go do this? But
But
Yeah.
I can't
I've been
wait for that
surprised
movie
before.
because the score for the first one was amazing. And to see this, so it's amazing.
Yeah.
yes, that's my
So-
wife's ringtone actually. When she calls me,
Is
that's
it
what
really?
it is. Yes.
It's weird. This is the first year where I don't really care about Marvel at all. Like in the slightest. I don't
mean,
really
they're
care
not
about
really
Black
doing
Widow
much
or
this year.
Eternals.
They're not doing
I
much
know.
this year. They're doing more next year, and right now they're doing a lot of TV this year. So
It's
they kinda
okay.
take a little
I think
chill.
we could all use a Marvel
Chill.
break for a bit. It's
Yeah,
fine.
for sure.
I mean, we're back to a stage where we're rebuilding the next
Mhm.
stage of
Mhm.
the universe. With the Eternals, we're further expanding the
Yep.
universe.
So it's like take
Yeah.
your sweet time. Like,
And then
please.
I would have said one of my other anticipated ones is No Time to Die, the new James Bond movie. Unfortunately, that just got delayed, so I don't know what's going on with that. So
I mean,
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
think about it, it makes perfect sense. I mean, the budgets for these James Bond movies are
Oh, yeah.
easily at minimum like
Oh, yeah.
220 million without talking about marketing.
yeah,
To completely not have China to give money to the box office, they
Smart.
won't make their money back. So they have
Yeah.
to move to
Of course.
November. There's no competition in December. There's no competition in January. It's going to make a shit ton of money.
Only thing it has to compete with in November is what? The Eternals.
That's it.
That's it. I gotta be honest. I think because Eternals is a new IP, I could actually see James Bond creaming it.
I mean, it will. It's the opposite to a comic book movie. If you want something, if you want an alternative, there you have James Bond.
That's it.
This is the last Daniel Craig James Bond movie.
Yep.
You have to choose the right release date.
Potentially leading in for the next James Bond as well. So like, there's a lot of stuff that's in there. So I can't wait.
And this is the 25th James Bond, right?
Yeah, this is the 25th James Bond movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow,
no, I love the James Bond movies. I've been a big fan of Craig as James Bond this entire time. So like, I want it.
But to not have China, it just doesn't make sense at that point. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Maybe they should put out Venom 2 earlier.
Maybe. Yeah.
I'm curious.
I gotta say, I'm not
next year.
I am looking forward to Venom 2.
No. One movie I am curious to say. Last one, Morbius. I'm curious about this.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I'm curious about it because of it's supposed to be part of the Sony and part of the Marvel universe. So I want to see how do they actually have that with what happened with the Sony deal. So I really want to see how do they incorporate that. So that's me as a comic book fan of Spider-Man and everything. As you can see, my next Spider-Man collection and everything. So that's why I really want to see how do they incorporate Morbius and everything since I grew up with the cartoons and comic books. So I really want to see how they incorporate Morbius.
Right on.
Yep.
Oh my God! Wait, I don't mean to get off topic again, but I just saw.
Let's go.
No, go ahead.
Miguel, I see the Watchmen thing on your shelf, bro. Did you guys watch the HBO Watchmen show?
Oh, damn,
nope.
so
I need to touch that.
I haven't seen the show yet.
Oh my God, bro! Watch that show immediately. I cannot believe I didn't bring that up during the TV portion. Dude, it's so good. It's so good. So good.
I'm gonna watch it because I was a huge Watchmen fan in high school, so it's like I probably should watch it. Yeah,
I love the graphic novel. I love Zack Snyder's movie.
Me too.
I enjoyed it. Yeah,
I need to get back into Doomsday Clock. I
stopped behind. That's right. Yeah.
I'm behind on comic books. It's been like 2 weeks. I'm behind.
That's why they incorporated like Rorschach and Dr. Manhattan into the canon of Superman. Right?
Batman DC universe.
It's the canon for the. Nope, I can't say anymore. Yep.
It's canon for the DC universe.
It's canon.
It's canon.
There you go. That's it. That's all you need to know.
Fair enough. That's it.
Yeah.
But Sam, yes.
For our final question of the interview, since you're the Gol D Rogers of any YouTuber, what advice would you give to the new any YouTubers that want to get started into becoming a any YouTuber, of course?
Okay. 3 things. Number 1, most important, only do videos about things you're passionate about. If you do a video on something where you're like, this is really popular right now, it's going to get a lot of views, but you don't actually care about it at all, people are going to be able to tell, stick to what you're passionate about. That's number 1. Number 2, see everybody's moving their fingers. Number 2, be consistent. That is like the hardest thing even for me as a YouTuber is to find a consistent day to upload, to record, to get everything done and get it out at the same exact time every single week. Consistency is so important. It is like literally the number 1 thing that can make or break your channel in the early days of it in the YouTube algorithm. And you could see like there's lots of channels that have done one small niche thing that have blown up with hundreds of thousands of subscribers, but they're consistent about it. They do it every day, same time, like 3 p.m. every single day. And the algorithm, promotes them and they're able to grow. And the third huge thing that I would recommend to people, because I see people doing this all the time in the comment section, and I think it's the number 1 mistake you can make as a YouTuber who's trying to get your name out there. Do not go to other people's video comment sections and say, yo, make like a 1-word comment. By the way, I did a video on this. Check it out on my channel. Or, hey, great videos. Let's be YouTube friends. Find me on my channel here. Don't do that. That is the quickest way to, 1, get people who are fans of that channel that you're promoting on to go and like attack you for those videos. And then 2, to get the people whose channels you're promoting that on to go watch your videos. And if it's not good and you're promoting something that isn't very good, they're never
really
going
go
to
shit
do
on
it
you
again.
Yep.
And it really works out. I'd say the best advice I can give on that end, if you want to get your stuff out there, is utilize social media. We are in an age in which Instagram and Twitter and all these other social media platforms, TikTok, they're hugely important. There are definitely ways to market yourself and to market your content to get eyes on it. Because obviously we don't want to just like upload content to a void where no one's watching it or talking about it. The best way to do that is to utilize social media to your full advantage. Tweet out about it. Get in contact with creators on social media that are open to having conversations. I mean, like most anime YouTubers I know, we all have Twitters. We all talk to people online pretty regularly. I think that's really crucially important. and you know, be open to collabing, and don't just right out the gate, if you have like 5 subscribers or something, like say, oh, I'm going to go hit up, I don't know, Nuxtaku or something and do like a collab video with him. Don't do that. Like start with your own audience and start with people who are passionate about the same thing that you are, and don't try to force it. You know, I think a really good example of this is Dustin. I think Dustin is a great example. Dustin Reacts. Dustin was somebody who just donated on the first like One Piece collab stream that I had done. And he donated with a really good question. And then we were like, this guy's pretty cool. Let's bring him into the Reverie. And Dustin, who had no subscribers at this point, I think he had like 200 subscribers or something, was brought into the Reverie along with me and King of Lightning and Sawyer 7 Mage and Joy Boy and everybody and Teching. And then literally built his name out of that. And so, you know, I think like natural collabs, things like what you guys are doing. You guys reached out to work with me. And I'm like, yeah, cool, whatever. This is great. Break Room Arcade. I mean, there's lots of other YouTubers that if you reach out with somebody who clearly is passionate about the same thing, more likely than not, unless they're super busy, they will find time to work with you. But also, like I said, don't be afraid to work with people who you think, oh, maybe they only have a small channel. I'm not going to get a lot of people from them. Don't think about it like that. Like, don't think about it in terms of I'm going to get something from this. Think about it in terms of like, is this something that I would enjoy doing? Like I wouldn't have come on the podcast today if I didn't enjoy this and wanted to talk to you guys about stuff, you know? So I think it's always really important about like sticking to what you're passionate about and doing what you love. So.
Which we really appreciate, by the way.
That's very
Thank you for being here.
Oh, absolutely. Of course. Miguel mentioned to me, I'm like, dude, I'm busy for the next 2 months, but if you want to pencil me in for March, I'm down. He's like, yeah, I got you.
And he did immediately.
I did. And that's 100% facts.
I totally meant it, of course. Yeah. So
that's 100%.
It's great to finally meet you, man. Like I've been subscribed to your channel for a while, but it's good to finally meet you.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you. That means a lot.
That's 100% facts of what Ray said, because I've been trying to get Roger since last year, but thing is, you know, he's busy, we're busy, and we're trying to find out the time of scheduling.
Yeah.
And so I don't ever want to force someone to come in. I'm like, hey, when you're available, come by.
And also, but that's the best way to do it, right? Is I think so many people are like, they're worried that a no means no forever, which is never the case, ever. Like if I'm not available to do a collab video with somebody right now, that doesn't mean like I don't ever want to work with you. And some people, I think they take like people getting turned down for collabs or whatever as like a sign that, oh, they just never want to work with me. And then they get this like chip on their shoulder where it's like, well, if they didn't want to work with me on this thing, they're never going to work with me. Screw that guy. And it's like, no, don't ever be like that. Like there's it's never that black and white.
That's a quick way to get like that.
Exactly. Totally. But then you ostracize yourself, because I feel like the cool thing about the YouTube community in terms of creators on YouTube, maybe not necessarily the comment section, but the community of creators on YouTube is, you know, everyone's very open, I feel, with each other, and very friendly and like open to collabing and talking about stuff and just sharing their passions. So
I agree, because it's something, it could be behind the scenes. I first hit up Roger a year and a half ago with a different email account. First before, when I was as a friend of him and everything, but I wasn't working for him. Hey, would you come up to the podcast? But this is when we first did phase 1 of the podcast, when we used to work for our old company, Geeks and Gamers. But then now I started to work for him. I got in touch with him because of Pro Cypher. So a quick shout out to Pro Cypher, aka for him.
There you go.
And then I started work for Roger. And then like, hey, when you're free for the next couple of months, like, I'm busy this month, but you could book me in 3 months from now. Okay, cool. I told the guy, like, hey, that's perfect. March will be our first guest. From like, all right, cool. And I have no problem, no rush and everything. And then from there on, I just kept talking to other people, KidOtaku and people, is that the whole community is very friendly. And also, don't be a dick. That's it.
Yeah, just don't be super mean to each other. I don't understand that. That's one thing to me. It's like, I would never go on somebody's video and just like write some nasty comment unprovoked. I think that's like one of the weirdest things to me is like, if I don't like something or I'm not enjoying it, I just click off of the tab and I go watch something else. Like
exactly.
AKA Villain Saga.
I don't sit there and stew on it. I'm not sitting there and just like, I can't believe this guy's making me so angry, and then like leave a thing. I just am like, okay, well that was dumb, and then I click off and I go to the next thing. Like, it's fine. I literally don't think twice about it. It's when people go out of their way to then say that, and this has happened to me before. I'm going to give a really good example of something. It's a little anecdote just to prove that all of us creators are always paying attention and you never know who's watching. This was 2.5 years ago. Somebody contacted me through one of my live streams saying that they absolutely hated how I was treating Whole Cake Island. And they thought that I was a horrible YouTuber and that I'm not good anymore and that like I lost my touch and like you're the worst person. And this person went on to comment on every video of mine that was not One Piece related saying, why you're not doing more One Piece stuff. This is why you're losing subscribers. This is why people hate you. You're the worst. Wow. Now, I'm not going to name this person because I think they were embarrassed enough via this conversation, but it was a name that I recognized because they were commenting enough and I was seeing it enough during my, you know, like review section or whatever. I'm like, okay, well, this is like somebody that, you know, I'm aware of that's in the community, even though I don't like them, whatever, it's fine. Cut to Anime Expo last year, and where I did a meet and greet at the Toei Animation booth with Anime Expo. And a bunch of people were coming up one by one. And I was like, hey, cool. Like, you know, where'd you meet me? Where'd you like, what was the first video that you watched of mine? And all these people were coming up and saying, I loved your One Piece stuff. You're my hero read through, whatever. I watched your Fire Force review or whatever, like all these random things. And then I was like, oh, cool. What's your like username on YouTube? I'll try to remember. And little by little, everyone's going through their usernames. And I would like look up afterwards and try to find those people. Mm-hmm. This guy comes up and is like, Roger, and of course everybody wants pictures too. When you're at like events like that, people like to have pictures and stuff.
Of course.
This guy comes up to me and he goes, oh my God, I'm like your biggest fan. It's like so cool to finally meet you in person. I'm such a huge fan of your stuff. And I was like, oh, cool. What'd you primarily watch? He's like, oh, your One Piece stuff. It's like just the best. Your One Piece stuff is like the best. I can't think of another YouTuber who's like, I'm so nervous even talking to you. Like, this is so cool. Like, oh my, and they're like stumbling over the words. And I'm like, oh, don't worry about it. Like, thank you so much for supporting me. This means a lot. And this guy then says, you know, when I'm like, oh, what's your YouTube username? And it's the guy who left all those nasty comments and was like so rude. And then he comes up to me and he's like, and I went, oh, okay. You know, I didn't like call it out or anything in front of everybody. I was like, oh, okay, interesting. And he goes, yeah, so like, can I take a picture with you? And I just looked at him and I was like, no. And I've never done that, ever to anyone in person ever. Mind you, this is in front of a lot of people at Anime Expo. There's like a whole meet and greet of people. And everybody else at this meet and greet is like, what? Because it's me.
Yeah, Roger's the nicest guy ever.
Literally, you could literally slap me in the face and I'd probably be like, oh, I'm so sorry. What did I do to you?
I'm sorry. I ran into your hand.
I didn't mean to run into your hand. The fact that this guy did that and then I remembered the name and I was just like, no, you don't get a picture. And he was just like, oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry. Like, I didn't mean to upset you. Like, did I do anything? And I was like, just be nicer in the comment section on YouTube. That's it. And you could tell like this look on his face as he realized that like, oh my God, of all the hundreds of thousands of comments, he not only reads them, he knew my name.
He remembered.
This guy sent me the longest apology email I've ever gotten to my business email ever, saying, I am so sorry, like all this other stuff. Please unblock me from the comment section. I didn't mean this. I really didn't think that like creators like you would like read the comments. Like, I can't believe this. I'm so sorry. Like, could you unblock me? And I went, I'm going to tell you what I tell everybody who I end up blocking in the comment section of my Hunter x Hunter videos. I say,
pay $50. Yep.
$50 and an apology message on PayPal during the live stream, and I'll unblock you. What did this man do? During one of the Hunter x Hunter streams, and you could go back and watch the stream.
He did.
This person apologized, sent me a $50 message, and I unblocked them. And it was gravy. And now, every time I see this person in my comment section,
right?
The nicest thing on the planet. Nicest. They always have nothing, like they're always saying really nice things. And they'll even like in live streams, if it's on Twitch or on YouTube, I'll see them commenting at other people being like, you should really be nicer to Roger's face.
Hey, Roger.
So like, people listen. And it's important to know people listen.
I just thought of something. So you said that you like food. You like to cook, food. Right?
I do.
Right? I just do you like pancakes?
I love pancakes. Dude,
don't do this.
Don't do this, bro.
Don't do this.
Wait.
Roger?
Wait. Miguel.
Yeah?
How long have you done videos for me?
A lot. I've seen your videos for the past 4 or 5 years.
Literally sponsored by Cracker Barrel.
I know.
True.
I know.
Do you like pancakes?
But trust me.
I'm sponsored by Cracker Barrel, Miguel.
Miguel, don't
for this.
Are you trying to get fired again right now?
Don't do this.
You're about to get fired from the podcast right here too now.
So Roger, you're a guest on the podcast. You know, you're a big inspiration here for my life and everything.
Thank you very much. That's very nice.
And plus, you're my boss. Hopefully, I get hired again for the fourth time.
That's right. Did you wait? Time out. Actually, side note. Did you keep this in, by the way? Because this is funny. Did you ever get paid for the fourth one?
Third and fourth one, no, not yet.
I gotta pay you. Remind me after this, because I got busy. Look at Miguel's face. Like, oh, okay, it's fine. You're supposed to be paid, bro. You should have reminded me.
That's Miguel. That's Miguel.
I know it was only a week and a half ago, so like I understand. Because normally what we do is we wait like 2 weeks to get the full ad revenue or whatever. But that video did pretty well.
Oh, great.
So so you're good. You're good.
Okay, so Roger, based on your answer to this question, I'm probably also going to judge you pretty harshly as well.
Okay.
All right, but also, so one thing first, you gave a great idea to Ray to know when he gets trolls in his stream of Twitch that he knows how now. You gave him a great idea now. You gave him a great idea.
He made that apology message, bro. That's it.
That's mine now. Yeah, I like that. Mm-hmm.
So Roger, are you also a big fan of cheese?
I love cheese. Yes, I do.
So you like to be creative, right?
I do.
One day I paid, did my creation. I paid Ray $20 to try pancakes with cheese. I never told him what cheese. I use sometimes American cheese because it melts, but also it's because I use Kraft singles because I just get lazy for it. But usually sometimes I use the actual American cheese made from the cheese.
Okay.
Would you ever put cheese, no matter what cheese, on your pancakes?
Like if you paid me? Yeah.
No, but you yourself.
I respect that answer.
No, yeah, you can pay me. Yeah, I'll do it.
Because that's the only reason why I did it.
Yeah, I would do it if you paid me. I mean, to be fair, like if you get a big breakfast at McDonald's or something, I mean, you get like pancakes.
McGriddle. And it's like
have cheese on it, which are delicious, right?
Yes.
Those are always really good. So like,
the same
I would eat a
thing.
McGriddle, but it's not the same
Thank
thing.
you, Ray.
If you're making a fresh pancake and then you're putting like
a whole ass Kraft single on top.
No, that's not good.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank you,
McGriddle. Now, if you did it with
Roger.
like bacon or sausage on top, and you were like frying the bacon and then made like a pancake, like in a separate thing, flipped it, and then put the cheese in the middle, that would actually be pretty good because then you're making your own McGriddle. And then you like fold the pancake like a burrito, that'd be good. Yeah, it's like you're having a breakfast sandwich. That I would totally eat. But a pancake with a Kraft single on top, no, that's just strange.
Interesting. Okay, cool.
But
Thank you, Roger, for solving this conundrum that Miguel has created.
I'm gonna confuse you guys though, because I'm about to say something that I think is gonna be controversial that nobody's gonna agree with me on.
Don't you dare say cheese on apple pie. Don't you do it.
Who the fuck eats that?
I don't even know.
Just want to put you out there. There's weirder things out there that I've heard. So there you go. We're fine.
Not cheese on apple pie. No.
Glad to know I'm not that weird then.
You put, and this is weird, I like honey. Honey's my favorite condiment. I love honey.
Okay.
Absolute favorite condiment. I like to dip my fries, and I specifically like to put on my burgers honey. If I go to McDonald's, I always ask for honey. I pour the honey on top of whatever burger I have, whether it's a Big Mac, double quarter pounder, or whatever, and I dip my fries in it. At literally every single place I've gone where I have a burger, if they have honey available, I like to have honey on my burger.
That's some food war stuff right there. All right.
Yeah,
that's not strange. That actually sounds peculiar because like there's not that many sauces that's that good for me. I think honey might work.
You definitely got the idea because of Soma using sometimes honey in his dishes, right?
No, I was happy about the fact that they called out how good that actually is in Food Wars. I've been doing that since I was 5 years old, bro. I love it.
Like validation.
I was growing up. I don't even remember how I like did it. I think I was like a kid or something, and I liked to mix honey and ketchup to make like barbecue sauce if a place didn't have barbecue sauce. And then I realized, wow, this actually tastes really good if you combine them, and especially on a burger if you have like the tanginess of like a really good mustard with ketchup and then like onions, and then you put the honey on there, it actually does add a really nice flavor to it. It like rounds out the flavor of the burger. So if you haven't tried it, I would say try it at least once. If you find it disgusting, I understand.
I'm gonna try honey.
No, it's nice to talk with a man of taste.
It's actually pretty good.
No, it's curious. It's curious.
It's certainly better than cheese on a pan.
Yes,
I do have
thank
taste.
you.
I do have taste.
God.
I do cook well.
Hey, you do have taste. It's bad, but you have taste.
Okay,
That's
okay.
Right.
My ideas creation sometimes are weird, but I do cook overall well because my family likes it, and supposedly I cook better than them, which is some stupid shit. But I don't believe.
I mean,
that.
if you were cooking and I didn't have to cook, I mean, I guess it'd be all right.
But I do understand with the honey thing because my girlfriend also has she likes to eat apple cinnamon with her steak sometimes, and I find that totally.
Oh
weird.
yeah. Oh totally.
I like applesauce with pork chops.
That one's applesauce. Thank you.
She know what's up. Yeah, applesauce with pork chops. Yes,
of course.
With applesauce.
Yeah.
That's the first time I heard that, and I was like, applesauce.
I heard of it before, but I don't think I've ever tried that before.
Yeah, it's great.
You get you a smothered pork chop or a fried pork chop and some applesauce.
A breaded pork chop with applesauce and some okra on the side.
Yeah,
bro. It's done.
We eat good,
done, bro.
So James, do you have anything?
Gross, actually.
Okay, interesting.
It's not gross. It's
To
good.
me, anyway.
James, do you have any weird creations of food that we don't know about since we're here, spinning out food creations?
Not really, dude. I would put ranch on anything that's not a fruit.
I'm glad you cut the line there. That's good.
You wouldn't put ranch on ice cream. I don't think you'd put it on ice cream.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't put it on ice cream, but like
ranch,
I don't believe you.
Any vegetable, any like meat, I agree with you. Ranch is very good.
Yeah, but I don't really have any weird combos.
I wouldn't put ranch on seafood. I don't think. But then again,
I dip my shrimp and my lobster in ranch.
Me too.
It's not that bad. That's not that bad.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good.
Lobster and
ranch? Well, I wouldn't dip, lobster and ranch makes me want to kill myself. I wouldn't do that. But ranch and shrimp is pretty good. Breaded shrimp is pretty good. Yeah.
That messed me up. That was like a whole existential crisis for a second. Like, what?
Yeah, I know.
Okay. That's how I feel about applesauce and pork chops. I'm like, that sounds really strange.
No,
but I would like to say that the wavelengths on that are vast.
Crash singles on pancakes, guys. Come on.
No, but when you bring up the shrimp, I could see how breaded shrimp and ranch is actually good because I think I've actually eaten that before.
I can see that.
Well, I did make today.
Like if you don't have tartar sauce, ranch is a fine substitute.
Yes,
that's a good alternative. Totally.
Well, I did make breaded fish and plus spinach rice, which came out very good. Spinach rice mixed with it, and breaded fish came out very well today. So
nice. I made
first time making it.
Last night for dinner, I made a lemon and thyme pork chop with cauliflower and broccoli as the side, and then for the carb, we had roasted potatoes. It was really good.
Hey, nice. Yeah, I like it.
That's good. Nice. Wow. We have here Star Wars, movies, TVs, anime, manga, and food in this podcast. This is a special type of
This is what you call a conversation.
That's right.
This is beautiful. This is beautiful.
All right. I want to move on to our personal watchings and readings of animes and mangas. I definitely want to catch us in this. I would add more stuff into this. Like, why not?
No lie. I love how Sam still goes through the script and says, he said, all right, guys, let's go to the next topic. And which is a good thing because I actually have a little pet peeve with Roger because I want to find out about something.
Well, I have a pet peeve too. I didn't realize I didn't pay you for the last video yet.
and then guys, watch the next 5 minutes. I get paid. Oh, I think I got paid by Roger in 5 minutes.
I would literally. Do you want me to pay you live? I'll do it.
We're doing it live.
I would literally do that live. That'd be funny. Hold on.
No apology letter necessary.
Well, no, there wouldn't be. I mean, Miguel knows. He's worked for me long enough where it's like I just need him to tell me because I've got 20 things going on.
I totally lie. I totally forgot because I got paid by like 2 other people. So like I totally forgot. Oh shit.
Well, never mind then. Forget that I'm gonna pay you. Bro.
It's like, yeah, other people are giving me money. I wasn't even concerned about. Oh, okay.
So I know James is a big fan of Fire Force last year, and you felt of Fire Force, Roger, and you also felt of Dr. Stone. So I want to know. I don't know if James wants to care about Fire Force because I don't really care. Me, I care about Dr. Stone because I'm a big fan of Dr. Stone. I have an arm sleeve and I have 2 mangas. Yes, I have an arm sleeve.
The arm sock.
So. What happened to Dr. Stone? Did you finish it or what happened?
So Fire Force and Dr. Stone, I was doing live reactions and reviews for like the first 3 episodes and I was enjoying them. But it was right in the midst of all that other like stuff going on.
Okay, with the One Piece and scans.
One Piece and then like the scans and people were getting mad at me and then Hunter x Hunter. And so there was just too much other stuff to cover at the time that I just dropped doing videos for them. I watched, I think up to episode 7 of Fire Force and I enjoyed it, but I never finished it.
Okay.
And Dr. Stone, I really, really like. I really like Dr. Stone. The issue is that I feel like at this point, because I still have like 4 or 5 episodes left in the season.
Okay.
I think I need to finish that off camera. But I really want to do, but I really do want to watch more Dr. Stone, and I understand completely why people like it. So
for me, Dr. Stone is the way I love about My Hero because it's because I started to read Dr. Stone before it became known to me because I read my Dr. Stone when it was still had 60, 70 chapters. So it was still small and everything. So I read it and everything and I loved it. And I fell in love with Senko and I love it how you start to watch the series of the first season. And then when we start reacting to it, like, damn it, I wish you did continue because it's a great score of Dr. Stone. Is my top 3 of last year of 2019. So I hope you do finish it this year on your own time and everything like that. So that was my little.
I will probably finish Dr. Stone at some point. I like it enough where like I know it's something where I'll finish it.
And how about Fire Force? Because probably James wants to know about that.
Fire Force, I love the animation. It's just for whatever reason, it's like I just kind of fell off of it. I mean, I'd like to go back and at least try it again. It's just not something I feel like I would do content for. It's something that I would just want to enjoy in my free time.
Yeah, I get that completely because I have a lot of fun with it. After the first 5 episodes, I just started binging the manga.
He did.
The manga gets really crazy, gets really fun, really interesting. So if you have any time in your free time, like pick up the manga. It's actually pretty good.
Right on. Miguel, check your PayPal right now.
Yeah, she did. All right, guys. So
I'm not gonna. I literally forgot. Here you go.
Wow, guys, I just got paid. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say a mock because that's between behind the scenes. Funny. But yeah, I was totally joking.
Man of his word.
Yeah. I wasn't joking. I was being serious. That's why I asked you. Did I pay you for the last one yet?
No. Me, I'm saying like you didn't have to do it during the podcast.
I don't care.
Oh wow. Guys, he did it right now. So that's pretty cool.
I like it a lot.
This is the interesting in my favorite podcast throughout the past 40 episodes.
Well, that's the weird thing, right? Is I feel like there are a lot of because you do great editing. Like I know the last one
he does.
That last one you said you were tired or whatever, but like I feel like it was still good. Like the editing you did on it was still good. We just needed to condense it. Yeah. And I feel like one thing that really does bother me, and maybe this goes back to your YouTube thing that you guys were talking about earlier too, about like a good way to get in. If you like editing and you want to test your skills on things, like definitely hit up creators because we're always looking for editors. It's a great way to like take our mind off of stuff, and it's a good way to make extra money. I mean, it's
I am actually in talking to Heavenly. I'm not sure if I could say that right now, but I'm talking to Heavenly right now.
Anthony's a friend of mine, so I think you're safe. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking to Heavenly right now. He's just trying to find the free time that he's free to talk to me because right now he's just being busy because it's since he just got back to from C2E2. He does the content. So he's just trying to find time this week to see when he's free to talk to me. But I'm gonna help him out with content and everything. Like so, that's my goal. Like my goal is to be full-time YouTube and plus full-time editing because I love editing and plus I'm good at it because I went to school for it. So that's my goal for it. And plus hopefully in the future to make my own film anime movie. That's what I want to do. That's my future far goal.
Yeah, for me, editing is such a strange thing because I like doing it sometimes, but I have to be in the mood and I have to be really passionate about what it is. And so for me, when I was going through like Bleach and all that other stuff, you know, prior to that with the Hunter x Hunter ones in particular, I was editing all those Hunter x Hunter ones up until like the last 3 or 4 in which Zypher jumped on and started editing them. That was like taking everything out of me because I would do it like a 6-hour-long stream and then literally the entire rest of the night I'd be editing this thing. Sometimes wouldn't even finish it. Bring it down because I'm not as skilled as you are. I didn't go to school for editing. I went to school for theater and English, so it's certainly not my forte.
Hey, thespian.
Exactly. Right. And so for me, it was like very difficult, and then it would sort of like take away my drive the next morning to want to make content, and then I would get in this loop of, well, I'm still editing the last thing. I don't have time to upload this other video. If I upload it, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be to my standard. I'm just going to wait till the next live stream and then edit. And then I got so reliant on doing live streams and like editing those live stream highlights myself that then I like lost my way in terms of what kind of videos I wanted to make. And so that was actually when at the end of last year, when I was like, guys, no more schedules, no more any of this stuff. This is really what I want to do. Once I actually took that mindset, everything's been like a lot better this year. And literally everything's been better. Monetization's been better. Growth has been better. My happiness has been better. Everything's been better. So yeah,
that's key.
I took a very similar stance recently, and it's been great.
That's how you got to be, man.
Yep.
I'm in that really rough area where you were in 2016 right now, where I have a really demanding 9-to-5 job.
Yes.
I edit 5 different podcasts, of which I am the host of 3 of them.
Oh my God.
And it's just a lot. And it's any free time that I have, it's to do movies for one of my podcasts or anime for this podcast or something else. Is just a lot, and trying to figure it out and try to make this my main thing so that this can be my main focus and my main drive for like just making content and making money. So
that's the dream. So I feel like
you and Ray, like that's the goals for me right now.
And I agree because I'm kind of the same with James because I have a day one it's because I have a day job that I have to go, but then I'd rather not be there. I'd rather be home, going to the gym, also come here home, editing and just do run with my dog and then be with my girlfriend because it's been my girlfriend had to work around her schedule to to be with me. So something that I want to improve on within myself with this year so I could learn that what I have been learning from Ray and James have been doing and something that I need to improve on within myself. So I do.
Does she live with you or does she live close?
She lives close, kind of, yeah.
Oh, nice. Good. Okay, good.
So
I would honestly say, like, utilize one thing that really helped me before Reagan lived with me. One thing that really helped me was finding things that I did want to catch up on or things that I wanted to watch and like, or things that I wanted to do. And just instead of thinking like, oh, I need to catch up on all this stuff myself, I'd be like, why am I not involving her? I have a girlfriend. Why would I not involve her in this?
Yeah.
And so that was like a really great way for both of us to really fall in love with like a lot of the same stuff. She is huge into Hunter x Hunter now. She is more into Hunter x Hunter than I am into Hunter x Hunter.
Sick.
She like literally is obsessed with Hisoka.
Who's her favorite character? Okay.
Hisoka. I mean, she's like obsessed with Hisoka. Like, I'm pretty sure she would leave me for Hisoka if Hisoka was real. Like, she loves Hisoka. To the point
where,
like,
cosplay for it.
Phone back. Oh yeah. Oh my God. Her female Hisoka is like super sexy.
It's really nice.
Love that. Yeah.
Really nice.
Yeah. So yeah, she loves Hisoka and like Hunter x Hunter and stuff. And then recently, like I played through Fire Emblem Three Houses, and she's always been a pretty big Fire Emblem fan.
But like the costume.
Yeah, now she's like even more into Three Houses than I am. She built out a Rhea costume. She spent like 600 hours on the game. It's insane.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great game. I love that game. But yeah, that happened with me and my wife and Dr. Stone. Like we watched Dr. Stone and she was like,
I'm so happy about that.
I like
this. Is kind of good.
And I was like, I think she liked it more than I did.
Yeah. That's always
my girlfriend is in love with Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and we're getting into Dr. Stone right now, so it's just a blast.
Nice. It's so nice to hear so many of you guys say you like Dr. Stone that much, because I never really did a video talking about like that fallout, but it was not at all because I wasn't enjoying it, because I genuinely love that series. So
and plus same goes for me. My girlfriend, I put her to watch 100 episodes with her of One Piece, and then now she's in One Piece. She's after the Alabasta arc, I think.
Okay.
Now she's into watching One Piece by herself now. So I don't have to stay with her watching. Now she's into it. So I'm just waiting for her to get closer to the Marine Force so I could watch it with her again.
Oh, sure.
So slowly I'm watching more with her One Piece and more anime. So it's more of how my work could, go with it, I'm more connecting.
Nice.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I like it. Smart.
Hey guys, was there anything that was for anime or manga reading that we just recently got into that really outshine everything that we've ever done right now? Besides Solo Level.
I have one thing. Let me go get it. I want to show you guys what this thing is. Hold on. Give me a second. Let me go get it.
Should we be nervous? I'm nervous.
Here we are.
I mean, Solo Leveling was really, really good, actually.
I started reading Claymore again. So there's that.
Yes.
Claymore.
Claymore is one of my favorite things ever.
What do I want to read right now? Claymore.
That series
started
ever end, though?
I thought it did. If it did,
I'm pretty sure it ended.
Yeah, I keep hearing like, did it end yet? I hear news once in a while of Claymore, and I was wondering, did the series end?
Yes!
Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yes! Jujutsu Kaisen.
I need to get into it. I really need to get into it.
I love Jujutsu Kaisen.
Look right here. Twins. Right here, twins.
Dude. Oh, hey, look at that. Dude, I got so into Jujutsu Kaisen. They sent me the first volume whenever it came out, like November of last year or something. Mm-hmm. And I was reading through it, and I thought, okay, this is pretty good. And then I started reading again on my own, like through Shonen Jump, and now I'm completely caught up, and I love it. I love it. So I cannot wait for the anime to come out. And the only reason I've not done any videos on it since that initial video is simply due to the fact that I'm waiting for the anime to come out so I could do live reactions. That'll most likely be my next major series. I get it. Love Kaisen. Yeah,
I think it's going to be the next major series, period. I think
it is going to be.
It's good. The art's intense, but I'm shocked that you're not creep out sometimes, because you know how sometimes it's very, with the...
Well,
I don't want to get into spoilers of it.
It's not really gory, though.
Yeah, but it's not really gory. It's just like
very
creepy looking.
Creepy.
Yeah.
How I try to explain it, like there's like the Bleach better version of the Hollows and stuff like that.
Sure.
I kind of called it to me.
Sure.
It's just improved, right? The thoughts and ideas, the concept has improved.
I would say it's creepier. Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. It's more occultish than Bleach. Bleach became more like sanitized as you went through Soul Society, and it sort of like lost track of the ghosts that made it really interesting in the beginning.
Yes, it went super shonen.
This is like, if let's just make a ghost manga.
And I like it a lot.
With magic and all this stuff. It's great. Yeah, man, I love it.
It's kind of like, do you guys remember D Gray Man?
Yes.
Oh
yeah.
Yes.
You were asking me earlier what were some of the things I got into really early. The 3 series I read regularly as a child were Sergeant Frog, One Piece, and D Gray Man, bro. Those were my three. Alan Walker, the Millennium Earl, bro. My goodness.
Roger, you my boy. You are my boy.
So good, dude.
So see, replace One Piece for me with Ranma half, and that was my childhood.
Oh, Ranma's also still up there for me too. I love Ranma.
God.
Love Hina, bro. Oh my god.
Oh, I actually love that too. Actually.
So, man, that's so good.
That's my
So good, dude. I would like. I talked about this on a previous video. I would love to go back and re-experience D. Gray Man, because wasn't there a new season recently?
They
was
kind
a retelling or something.
Yeah, sort of. It was kind of like a D. Gray Man Kai type ish thing. Yes, I haven't watched it yet, but I've seen it, and I want to watch it.
I want to do. I don't know how many episodes it is. I want to do like a mini series of watching it on stream. I love everything about D. Gray Man. Everything about that. D. Gray Man was Demon Slayer before Demon Slayer, honestly, because like
you are 1,000% correct.
The way that they built out like sympathy for the villains and like all the other characters. Oh my god, man.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. Time and place, though. That's all that was about that one.
Oh,
but I love D. Gray Man. D. Gray Man is one of my favorite of like all time.
I haven't seen D. Gray Man, so
it's
Alan
okay.
Walker, dude. If they put Alan Walker, because he's not in Jump Force. They didn't add him in Jump Force, did they?
No. I don't think he made it.
J-Stars, I think he was.
He was in J-Stars. Yes,
and he was in Jump Superstars. Bro,
but he didn't get into this new.
Put my dude Alan Walker in the next Jump Force or whatever with Tanjiro and have the two of them go against each other, bro.
It would be so much fun.
Water breathing and oh my god,
that'd
bro.
be so much fun.
Please.
I love The Gray Man. Like that, yeah. I used to go to cons just because I knew they would be like playing episodes of it. Like, well, I'm just going to go to the con to watch the anime. And that's what I would do because I didn't have access to it. So, like, but I know they're going to be playing it there. So I'm going to go to this con, literally sit in this room for like a weekend and just watch The Gray Man.
Well, just like the family of Noah and everything. Like,
yes.
Bro, villains are so good in The Gray Man.
They're fantastic.
And they're slept on. But, like, I feel like The Gray Man, because of the Millennium Earl and how he's like, without spoiling things for people who've never read or watched The Gray Man, but like the way that he changes the world and like adjusts everything around him and like the Noah family and how they're related to it all. It's just like, it's fascinating.
It is very well crafted.
It's so
like
well
it is.
crafted.
It's so good.
Oh, my God.
if you listen to us, you've never heard of The Gray Man. Like, please go read The Gray Man.
Go read The Gray Man.
Go read it.
It's on the Shonen Jump app. It's literally on the Shonen Jump app. Go read it, please.
Should I watch it instead or read it instead?
Read it.
Like seriously, read it.
Read it.
Take the time to read it. Take the time to read it. You'll have a good time.
Well, since you've read Jujutsu Kaisen and you're waiting for the anime, would you encourage people who hasn't read Jujutsu Kaisen to wait for the anime or go straight to the manga?
Wait for the anime, because I think if you start with the manga right now, you're going to be like, oh my god, I can't wait for the next thing. You're going to be disappointed. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely watch the anime. Yeah.
Because, no, it's just like they are
where they are right now in the manga. I feel is in a transitional kind of period. Yeah. I feel like I could go in a bunch of different ways, and I want them to just watch the anime.
Just wait.
And plus, you haven't had the chance to really say, because I know you just influenced one of our panelists to read 20 chapters of Solo Leveling. Sam read the series before he saw the podcast. He said, "You know what I'm gonna do? Read 20 chapters before Roger comes on the podcast."
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'm liking it so far. It's what I've always been reading for manga and manhwas of video game kind of version of manga series. Like, you could be the most weakest character in the world. Now, how do you build yourself as the strongest person in the world?
Yeah.
Literally have a near-death experience and like have the whole psychological stuff hit upon you and then grow from it. Literally like surpass that fear, surpass that trauma, and grow even stronger, and then just slowly build your character own way up, the most ultimate strongest character in the world. Of course, there's gonna be bad stuff that happens everywhere and around the world. There's always gonna be those PK killers. There's always gonna be those people that tricks you and put you in a trap, try to steal your weapons, try to steal whatever, and then the main character will kill all the villains and whatever.
So I'm curious. Wait, I gotta stop you right there. What's the last thing that you read? Because I'm assuming, just from what you were saying about it right now, with like people tricking you and things, I'm assuming you've gotten to the first like dungeon, like where he's with somebody else, and then he's met a certain character.
Yes, I'm up to that, like where they just trap them in with the mob boss.
Oh my god, bro! You are you're in for a treat. You're in on like you're coming up on the chapter that made me fall in love with the series and like made me want to keep reading, dude. It's so good.
So for you reading Is this your first manga?
Me? Yes. My first manga, yeah.
Okay, that's gonna be interesting, especially when Crunchyroll is like having 7 different webtoons and manhwas onto their anime side. And
it's only 108 chapters.
Yeah, that's it.
Bet.
And they're very easy reads.
Yeah,
I mean,
and it's all color too.
I'm on chapter 76 right now,
I've
done 3 streams of it. That's it. So one more and I'll be done. So
I'm in.
But that's what I was gonna say. If you had to see, like, this is just like a hard question right now since you just started to read your first manga. But what do you suggest? Like, what do you like more? About the manga style, like, or color and everything, plus the manga style, or would you write like the black and white, nice art style?
I think it depends on my mood, right? I think for something like if I'm used to a long running series like One Piece, I don't mind it like just being in black and white.
Okay.
But it really does, like for something like Solo Leveling, where the emphasis is on like really hype moments and fights, I think it's like crucial to have that really beautiful art. And like, because I mean, the artist of Solo Leveling is unbelievable. I mean, like, Sam, you're not at the stuff that's going to impress you yet. I mean, there's some of it that looks really good, but like some stuff about like around chapter 30, 40-ish, things start to look gorgeous. And where I am now, it's like every chapter looks like it'd be in a museum, man. It's like this guy's
your
amazing.
reaction of you screaming and jumping off the chair and everything. So I saw that some clips because
Sam, don't watch that video because that's a huge spoiler. Do not watch the video.
I mean, I was already kind of freaked out and like, damn, that when it came to the whole king and that creepy smile and shit, like, damn, that's a creepy motherfucker right there.
Beginning,
like, the hell is that? The hell is that?
Oh man.
But yeah, I'm liking it so far. It's pretty good. If it gets better and better, well, when the next episode comes in, I'm already caught up with everything and I'm reading it weekly. Like,
and then,
it's my Bible.
Maybe me and Sam might start covering in the future as a weekly series. We might do that.
The fandom is incredible. I mean, this amount of support that I got is unreal. Today, this was a live stream, live concurrent viewers. We had live 4,000 people watching. Yeah.
Wow.
Damn. For 4 hours long. It was a 4.5 hour long live stream consistently the whole time. Like it never dipped below like 3.5 thousand. Literally the entire stream, which is insane. It's insane.
That is nuts.
Yeah.
Actually,
so the audience is like rabid, and they're really cool and supportive in like explaining to you why certain things are the way they are, and it's just like it's fun. And there's so many other people that are getting into it right now that I feel like I caught something just before everybody else is getting into it. But also, like, I have so many audience members and like followers and subscribers who have told me about Solo Leveling for literally months that I haven't listened to, that it's like, even though I'm one of the first ones who's like uploading the reactions and like talking about it, it really is, it's like I'm still late to the party because there's all these other people, like thousands and thousands of people who are obsessed with it and love it and know everything about it and are completely caught up. And really, I think the only other person that I heard of that was a creator that was doing like regular content for it was King. King Lightning.
Yeah, he
does it weekly. Yeah. So.
I mean,
it's incredible.
It's only the biggest star that comes in late to the party, so it's already okay.
I love that name. People were joking with me saying like, "Oh, you got to get Tekking and Nux into this." I'm like, I'm not telling them about this until I'm done because people will drop me to go watch Tekking and Nux because they got bigger audiences, and I guarantee it.
That's true.
That's true. And plus, right here on air, I hope you do reach your goal that you want to reach, your goal that you have on YouTube. So I really hope you reach that by the end of the year.
500,000. I want it. Yeah.
Hey, you want it, you gonna get it.
I know.
You gonna get it.
You gotta have the mindset to do it. Yeah. I mean, like I said, this year I could not be thankful enough for this year. We've already got 30,000 new subscribers in the first literally 2 full months of the year, which is insane. You know, and if Animal Crossing picks up and, you know, the Solo Leveling stuff continues, and I mean, One Piece, I mean, we're going to be in the Fire Festival this year, so I'm assuming there's going to be some really fire One Piece chapters.
Of course, definitely.
I think we're in for a good time. Yeah.
All right, I want to talk about this before we end this podcast. The My Hero Academia Heroes Rising film just recently reached over $10 million.
Yes.
So, guys, before you guys, non-spoilers are out of the table, we're going to talk about a bit of spoilers here, so let's get straight to it.
So, Roger, we know you've watched this movie a week before it became out in theaters.
I did. I was very lucky. Yeah.
And we want to know your full thoughts about this movie.
Okay. Spoilers? I'm good?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. Go ahead.
All right. I really enjoyed it up until the last 5 minutes.
I agree.
And it's not the actual fight at the end. The actual fight at the end is amazing. What they do, the moment where you see the blood and you realize, oh my God, he's going to transfer the quirk. This is incredible. This is Bakugo and Deku actually coming together. It's great. Mm-hmm. This is a movie in which there's a character who has cell powers, right? Where they could change people's cell makeup. Why, in God's name, would the explanation for the quirk not still being in Bakugo be, oh, he was knocked unconscious and the quirk didn't transfer, and he was knocked unconscious and can't remember anything? That was the stupidest cop-out on the planet. And there's like, you could have easily done this in so many other ways where it's like, oh, this guy with the cell power just changed the makeup of his thing, and now he's got the All for One again. It would have been, I would have believed that completely. But the fact that they were like, he's knocked unconscious and doesn't remember anything is complete BS. And then he's got all the scars still. It's like, bro, what are you doing? Total BS. Now, with that in mind, the fight against Nine, incredible. Incredible. Beautifully animated. All the emotional moments I wanted, amazing. The fight with Todoroki and with all the other characters against the furry, awesome.
Don't do my boy Chimera like that, Roger.
Yo, Chimera was dope.
Chimera? Bro, he was the GOAT.
Chimera was dope. I was
amazing.
Like, bring him into the main series. He's better than half the other villains you've had.
Right? He was sick. Tokiyami going crazy on the girl with Medusa powers or whatever.
Yes.
Incredible. Shadow Boys for life, bro. I love Tokiyami. He's one of my favorites.
Boys for life.
Shadow Boys, bro. I love Tokiyami. I love that moment. It was awesome. I thought the stuff with Endeavor really cool in the beginning, where like they're going against the villains. Great.
Yeah.
My other big problem with this is I feel like there's going to be a lot of people who are going to go into this who are going to theaters because it's an anime film and people are going to be vocal. There's going to be people who are in the theaters who are anime-only watchers who are going to hear manga readers go, oh my God, that's a spoiler. And they're going to pick up on things that they would have probably never even thought about. But the movie straight out says, oh, there's multiple quirks in Deku. Oh, here's the doctor from the current
outright
arc. What are you doing? Here's Hawks, who isn't even in the anime yet, but people have talked about him. There's so many things in that regard where it's like, why are you doing this now? Like, you have time to build this out. Why are you rushing this into there when it's not even that important? But in terms of the movie itself, I greatly enjoyed it, and I thought it was a wild ride. So, and I liked it more than the first one.
I love the point you said. The one thing I will let Ray speak on the last 5 minutes because he kind of turned me over in the perspective the way he view it. So I'm gonna let Ray speak on the
spirit. I want to know.
I mean, it was just so the way I completely understood how you felt about that, because I was like, yeah, did it make like they did not do a good job of explaining it. But my interpretation of it is that this quirk is ever evolving, and in its evolution, it is self-preservation in itself, that it knows that it couldn't be with Bakugo, and that Deku is the inherent owner of the quirk. And so it's like, yeah, I did this because we were gonna die, and this quirk has to survive to defeat the big bad. And so it's yeah, he got the power for a little bit, but no, it's not his. This belongs to Deku.
It's Deku's, of course, of course.
What they have to explain, though, is there's still the theories, and this is theory, this is complete theory territory now, is that Bakugo's he's one of the spirits that exists within the quirk. Is one of the theories.
That's my issue, right?
Exactly.
Horikoshi, correct me if I'm wrong, said that this was something he wanted to do in the story eventually.
He said this was the original ending.
He wanted Bakugo to get the quirk.
He did.
Right. And that would bring them together, and that would be that. Right. And but he would still be the world's #1 hero. I get it. Totally.
Yeah.
So what bothers me is that because they blew their load in the movie, that's not going to happen in the manga. And one big thing, which I was talking to James about very early on in this podcast, we're talking about Attack on Titan, there's no plan. Isayama had the plan. He literally even trolled people. Isayama went out of his way to troll people and be like, well, I know you guys love these characters, so I might need to change the ending. And then it's clear after this, it's like, no, he's killing everybody, and like he is not going to change it. It's going to be what it was. Like, that's how it's going to be. Whereas my hero, I feel like he is actually going to change the ending now, and he's going to adjust it based on what people are saying.
I think he confirmed he already said that he was just going to write a different ending.
Yeah, and so that to me is a bit of a bummer, because I could see if that was actually the canon ending of the story, how that would be a really satisfying emotional buildup and would really bring the Deku and Bakugo story full circle. And so for him having to write around that now and have to do something different, I feel a certain way about it. And I'm not really sure.
And
so
I
feel the same
way.
way.
My input on that whole thing with Bakugo having one for all, I think it goes against everything that Bakugo stands for in himself. Like, he wants to be the #1 hero and do everything and save people with his own power in his own way.
So,
for Deku to give him one for all, it's cheap. One for All is Deku's power. Even if Bakugo becomes the number one hero, I'm okay with that, but it has to be of his own accord.
Right.
Because that's what made me fall in love with Bakugo in the first place.
And you bring up literally the perfect thing, in which I was complaining about when I was in the theater. Literally, Heavenly was sitting by me, Reagan was sitting by me, I was sitting by a lot of voice actors. We were all talking about this right after the movie ended. Bro, all that needed to happen, way easier explanation that I would have bought completely, as opposed to being like, I was knocked unconscious and don't remember. The thing that lines up with Bakugo's character is Bakugo's like, wait, why'd you give me this quirk? Like,
I don't want this. Take this back.
Thank you.
Exactly. He could have easily given it back to Deku and it wouldn't have even been a big deal. I wouldn't have questioned it. I wouldn't have had a problem with it. I'd have been like, you're right. Bakugo totally would not want this.
Exactly. He wouldn't. But I think it was all for the emotion. It was like in the moment he was like, yeah, I guess we gonna die. So I'll take this.
I don't have a problem with it in the moment.
It's
in the moment.
The explanation.
It's just
explanation.
Well, I would say the lack of an explanation. There was no explanation. That was just like okay, maybe this is what happened.
Because even All Might kind of says like, oh, One for All saw Deku just trying to protect everyone and protect Bakugo, so One for All transfer. Exactly. So it's like, why not just lean into that? But okay, he lost his memory.
Or have it like I said, have a transfer and then have Bakugo be like, I don't want this. Here you go. I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna beat you down with my quirk. I'm still gonna be the number one hero. I don't need your stupid thing from All Might. You're a joke, Deku. You never even had a quirk. Have it back.
And he said that before. And he's done that before. He said it so many times. Even the fight between Deku and Bakugo from season 3, that last fight. He said, like, I'm going to do this on my own accord. I don't need you. But the best way for me to surpass All Might is to surpass you because you have his quirk. So it's the next best thing to have.
But then Deku went and got like 6 more quirks. So
to me, that's another weird thing, right? I mean, to me, it comes off almost like if Luffy and Zoro, if in a One Piece movie, Luffy and Zoro are up against this guy, and the only way to beat this guy is the two of them both need to use Conqueror's Haki. And in that moment, Luffy's like, this is how I learned Conqueror's Haki, whatever, and Zoro learns it. And then all of a sudden, after the fight's over, Zoro's like, oh yeah, I forgot how to use Conqueror's Haki. I need to train it on my own later on.
So it's technically a better example is to say Dragon Ball Super when...
I was about to say...
I don't watch Dragon Ball, so I wouldn't know.
Oh, so, well, it's you could have seen this many times.
Ray's face just changed 180. It's real quick.
Ray, you
it's
didn't know that
just
Roger...
not your thing? Like,
he never watched Dragon Ball.
I've never watched it.
I didn't know that about you.
I watched Dragon Ball Z.
I worked for him, and I've known him for many years. That's why at that point I didn't know.
Yeah, so Dragon Ball Z, I watched growing up. So I know all of the main Dragon Ball Z, like the main stuff. Like Frieza, all that stuff. Androids, fine.
Everybody played Dragon Ball Kakarot, by the way.
Of course, never watched Super.
Plug.
Watched some of the original Dragon Ball and just like haven't kept up with it in recent years. Yeah.
Okay.
Not that I dislike it.
I think that
it's just like not my thing.
When you find some time, like just on your own, give Super a shot. Just give it a shot.
Okay.
Because it does build it into something nostalgic and wonderful.
Yes.
So
one thing I would say
is with Dragon Ball.
Watch both movies first. Watch both movies and then jump into episode 40 or 45, something like that. Because
there's some filler.
I was at the premiere of the Beerus movie. I literally went to see that movie.
Yeah.
And I liked it. But
so you can skip that whole part of the anime.
Yeah, if you watch Battle of the Gods and you watch Resurrection F,
you can skip those parts of the anime.
Yeah, you can just skip all of that.
Like in the anime?
Yeah,
yes. It's just so they took the movies and turned them into like whole arcs in the anime.
And they have a baseball game too. They have the gods playing a freaking baseball game in the anime.
Listen, we don't have to worry about that. There are plenty of articles that you can read
of it.
that will be like, you don't need to watch this part, like. But there's some really good parts.
All I know is I love playing Dragon Ball FighterZ. I got it on Switch and I love it.
Thank you. It's so good. So good.
Jiren is awesome. So whatever Jiren does, I like him. So
he's a very powerful brick.
Got it. All right.
Both personality-wise and power-wise.
I'll take it.
Personality too?
So I guess my example of Dragon Ball Super Ultra Instinct would not work because I thought you would have at least known that part. But never mind then. So, but yeah, I totally understand.
This is literally my only. I'm going to tell you right now, my only interaction with Ultra Instinct at all. It's no matter how you want to get it done, no matter how. You know what I'm talking about? The Forever World song.
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
The only time I ever like. That's what I know what Ultra Instinct is. Wow. I know.
I love Forever, by the way. God,
the thing with Ultra Instinct. they wrote that brilliantly, because in my mind, you give Goku this power that even some of the gods can't even attain.
Right.
Where do you go from there? Where do you go from there when he has literally the power that not even the gods can access?
Yeah.
I forgot how to use it. That's what you got.
And that's the example I was gonna use. Right.
He used it in absolute desperation when he literally didn't have any power left. He didn't know how to control it. It was something that he tapped into.
It's like the mom.
He has to learn how to.
It's like the mom lifting the Tahoe off of the small child. You know.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Yeah.
So since you mentioned One Piece and everything as well, which quick thing, One Piece Stampede or My Hero?
Stampede, no question. Yeah.
Okay.
Not even, but that's also as somebody who's more of a One Piece fan than a My Hero fan, but I like them both. Stampede, no question though. But I would say that Stampede is not the best One Piece film. I would say the best One Piece film, unquestionably to me, is Z. I think Z is so good. You were asking me earlier, what would be the thing I would introduce people to One Piece with? I would say Z is a great self-contained story.
Film Z is freaking amazing, but
I would say maybe Z, Film Gold, Stampede. Those are the top three, I think, for me. I'm not a huge Strong World fan.
I like Strong World for what it is, but also it's because they come in suits and everything, and that is a great poster to have in the background.
Shiki's cool too.
Yeah, he is. But yeah, about this My Hero movie, what do you think of the whole 9 and the whole animation about Shigaraki and everything?
You mean Shigaraki killing him?
Yeah, like 9 and everything of him watching him, being the lower version of him.
Yeah, I didn't care at all about 9 as a character in the slightest. And I think that's a big reason why, like, the movie, I liked it for what it was, but, like, I had no connection with this character. The fact that I, liked the Chimera guy more, like the furry guy, I genuinely, liked him. He was just hype. He was fun to watch. Whereas, like, 9, you don't really get, like, an explanation. He's, like, being experimented on, and then you get, like, the scene where he uses lightning and, like, levels a city, but hardly anybody died, and you're like, what is this about? And then...
complete plot device. Plot device. That's all he was.
Really,
and I think that
you're not supposed to care about 9. I mean, he's the experiment that tells us that the Doctor is working on trying to mess around with
and
create a different All For One.
Exactly.
So I don't know if I do manga. I'm not gonna do manga spoilers. Nope, not gonna talk about that.
Oh yeah.
Not gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
But no,
chapter's real good though.
I will say though, they have 9's main quirk, and it's going to be used soon
in the manga. Right.
Yep.
That's right. That's right. I thought about that. That was weird. That when that moment happened, I was like, "Is this from the movie?" Yeah.
Well, sometimes the movie has some kind of spoilers for the manga readers.
The movie had complete spoilers for everybody.
The Doctor. I literally said this when we did our spoiler review last week. I said the freaking Doctor.
That's why I moved past, because that's a huge spoiler.
I mean, his role is just so obvious that I don't think it's that big a deal in my opinion.
It's one of those things where people are like, "Oh, is this movie going to spoil me for anything?" And I'm like, "Yeah, if you know stuff."
Yeah, if you don't know the context, you're not going to understand anything.
Totally.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a lot. There's a lot of good spoilers into it, like Hawk's endeavor and his new suit, being playing the number 1 hero.
I mean, his scar was like the big one for me. I'm like,
his scar was literally right there. I'm like, that might not even happen at the end of this season. So
it's definitely not. This season, I think, is going to end with the hero ranking chapter.
Correct.
Where like Hawks is introduced, and then he mentions like, "Oh, this is what a hero actually is," and then you get that conversation between Endeavor and Hawks.
Time. Yep.
Break time. Next season, we're going to get Endeavor Hawks and the 1A, 1B. And then I actually think, because I think they're a bunch of liars, they were like never going to do another movie. I think that's a total lie. I think they're going to see the success of the Demon Slayer thing, and I think the Villain Academia stuff is going to be its own film.
You know what? That would actually be perfect.
Because then they're going to jump right back in with the season after that with what's going on currently.
Because do you really? I don't think they could do the My Villain Academia as long as it is. I don't think they could do it.
No, I think they could make it a really good movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
smart. I like that.
I think they're gonna do. I think they're testing the waters with the Infinity Train stuff in Demon Slayer, and I think if it does well and it works for them, and they realize, we can actually adapt full arcs into films. I think they're gonna go full force with Villain Academia, because I think right now they said we're not making any other movies. But if you look at the timeline, right, it was like new movie, break year, new movie, break year. Next year, 2021 would be a break year if there's a new movie this year. And then 2022 would be the Villain Academia one, which makes sense because this story arc would be over. And then the next season for next year would be Endeavor Hawks and 1A, 1B. And there you go.
That wasn't actually that bad.
I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
I actually really like this. So, Horikoshi, I know you're also watching this. Just let that happen. That'd be really cool.
Listen to Roger and Ray. They are intelligent people.
I know.
While you're still doing your research and everything.
I mean, he knows what he's doing, but like,
someone who would know, this is all I'm allowed to say, someone who would know has told me that Horikoshi has watched one of my Hero read-throughs.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's amazing.
So I know. So I know that at the very least he has seen at least one of my videos.
That's amazing.
That's sick, dude.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool.
yeah, I know you're watching now. Just do it.
Yeah, Roger's here, so you definitely have to watch this too.
Do it.
But for me, I was gonna ask one question. Since you read My Hero, One Piece, and in the Shonen Jump, and also JJK,
Promised Neverland,
The Promised Neverland as well, and Hunter x Hunter, and everything.
Hunter, yeah.
Would you ever be touching Black Clover? Do you see yourself in the future ever touching that?
I'll never say never is my answer to that. It's my easy answer. Never say never.
Yes.
And
I literally was the same way.
Never say never.
I was like, yep.
He just recently cut up.
I'm all caught up now.
140 chapters, 140 chapters.
And I like it. I'm having a good time. Like, as long as it's a good time, I'm there. And it's a good time.
Yeah.
I agree.
Never say never. That's my answer.
Do you see yourself maybe this year or not yet? You haven't thought about it. You're just going with the flow.
Never say never. I'm sticking by. That's
Right.
it. I've learned my lesson to not give scheduled things out anymore. Now I just like do what I do. If I wake up next week and I'm like, I want to watch Black Clover, I'll do a Black Clover watch through. But
don't watch it. Read it.
Read it. Really?
Okay.
I'm gonna echo that.
Here's what I might do. Here's honestly what's the most likely scenario is I'm gonna read Black Clover in my own time and probably never do content about it unless I like really really like it.
I think it's worth it.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Ray here reads it and he barely talks about it on the podcast.
I read it. I barely talk about it anywhere, but I'm caught up.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine. As long as you enjoy and just say, hey, I like it, cool.
Cool. I might do that then. Yeah.
All right, guys, let's wrap this up. Some special shout outs first for Richard F.A., who's been following us since the beginning and has just found out that we have a podcast. Hope you enjoyed this episode.
Nice.
Also, shout out to Jose Rodriguez. Thank you for your support. Love you, man. My bro. And now for our plugs. Roger, can you please tell us your plugs?
Where people can find you.
Sure, you can find me on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram at Rogerbase, Rogersbase. I do weekly live reactions and reviews of the One Piece manga, in addition to read-through series like Solo Leveling and My Hero Academia, if you're into that kind of stuff, as well as weekly Nintendo content. Sometimes it's a preview, sometimes it's a new game, sometimes it's a Nintendo Direct reaction. Who knows? But anime, gaming, and manga, you could all find on my YouTube channel at Rogerbase. And thanks so much for having me. This is a lot of fun. This is actually, I thought I was going to be exhausted after the 4-hour Solo Leveling stream, but this was all good conversation. So.
Oh, trust me, Roger, we didn't expect this episode to go the way it did. So I'm happy. I don't give a fuck. I'm great. I'm satisfied.
Disney. Don't be swearing. We Disney. Come on, man.
Yeah, this is a Disney podcast now.
Yeah,
PG-13, man. Come on.
Yeah, we all want some Disney passes, you know?
That's right.
Yeah, sponsor us Disney Plus, because you guys have the money for sure.
It's too late. You already ruined it.
There you go.
Jeez.
Ray, Roger. I mean.
Oh, well, Roger already went, so it's my turn.
Thank you.
Well, you know, it's me, your boy Ray Apollo. Twitch, Twitter, anime, video games. I'm sounding like a broken record, but no, you know we love some video games. We just finished Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, the whole thing, 70+ hours done. I love that game. Play that game. If diehard Dragon Ball fans, it is for you. You should play this game. But you know me, Ray Apollo, RayAPOLLO, no space, because you add a space, you get a clown. I'm just a clown that plays video games. All right.
Exactly, one L, you call him a pollo.
Don't do that. Oh, look at it! It's beautiful. I love it. I love it so much. But no, come hang out with me with Twitch. We have a good time. Dake memes on Twitter.
Nice.
All yours.
James?
You guys can follow me and every single thing that I do at careful4spoilers.com. There you will get links to all of the podcasts on the C4S Podcast Network. You will get links to my social media, all the articles that we write surrounding movies, TV shows. We do everything, and it's all going to be on the website. On the C4S podcast, we just did a revisit review of Justice League. On the Best One, Worst One podcast, we're going to be talking about buddy cop movies to continue our crime movie series. And then we're going to be doing spy movies. So we have a lot of cool content coming for you guys in the next couple of weeks.
All right.
And guys, for me and for Anime Lately, thank you for supporting us. Thank you for rating us. Thank you for giving us a 5-star rating. We are the best ones out there for anime and manga podcast. And thank you for following us and supporting us on Patreon, Discord, joining. And thank you for listening to this definitely crazy amount show that we just did. And I don't know how long it was because I lost track. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it.
2.5 hours, I think.
I think
most
maybe
likely.
longer than that.
Yeah.
Definitely was probably the longest. So thank you guys for joining and thank you guys for watching.
Thank you guys for listening. This has been Sam the Manga Man. Peace.
Very good.
That shit was long and that shit was amazing.
I just followed everybody. There you go.
Roger, thank you so much.
I'm like,